tip. I'm so excited.
But let's keep it together. At least until the first death.
I hope your front door is locked and your phone is switched off. It's match time. And nothing can come in the way of a head coach and his Blood Bowl.
Seems like the players are live, so we should probably jump straight to that.
Right.
It's the less
Alright.
conventional strategist, I'm telling you. Black liver caused it.
Well, let's
mean-
see if he can redeem himself this game. Let's have a look.
Crendor, you and me, second half, we're going to be talking about names.
All
I
right.
have opinions.
Try not to forget there's a game going on, though.
Yeah.
Right, I have the game up here. So, first half casting will be myself and Sage bringing you the action. Second half will be Knorr and Crendor. Thanks for joining us on the panel, guys, and we will all reconvene after the game to discuss what has happened. But for now, let's get into the action.
So the players are just getting set up. The Orcs are currently setting up their defense. Both teams have 12 players total. The Orcs have 3 guard, including a stand firm and a dodge, and importantly, they have an agility on their thrower. Over on the dwarf end, we've also got 3 guard as well as 3 mighty blow, and just some block on the runners as well. So one of the guards is on a runner, which is not where you want it per se, but it's still going to come in very handy.
He obviously got a double there and decided that he had to take it with this matchup coming up. I'm not sure how long he's had that guard runner, actually. I think he did have it last game. So it might have just been
He had it before the semifinals, definitely,
Yeah.
yes.
It might have just been a case of he got it early and thought, I need guard as quick as possible. Because he had an Orc mirror match in the 3rd round as well.
Additionally, guard is the kind of skill that gets better the more you have of it, and it's plan A for dwarves anyway. So it's not too bad in the long term. Once you have a bunch of it, it kind of adds to its value.
I don't mind a blodge runner though. I think in this format against teams that aren't dwarfs, blodge can be quite hard to deal with.
Very true. Generally, that is the doubles of choice for a dwarf runner. I agree.
But who are we to talk to Knockoff about what he should take on his players? He's the one in the 3rd place playoff right now. Now, hopefully, we'll see this Mighty Blow doing some work here, because it wouldn't be a Blood Bowl game without plenty of violence. For you guys at home that don't know, Mighty Blow gives you the ability to add 1 to either your armor or your injury roll. So if you're just short of breaking armor, you get +1 from Mighty Blow, it breaks armor, happy days. If you're exceedingly lucky and you break armor without Mighty Blow, you get to add 1 to your injury roll, which is brilliant for turning stuns into KOs and turning KOs into injuries. It's still not that effective against Orcs because of their naturally high armor. However, if he gets a little bit of luck on his side, the 3 Mighty Blow might go to work if he gets to throw enough blocks.
All right, the kick has been a high kick, which means the dwarf runner is allowed to get under the ball.
He will catch this on a 4+, which he fails, and the ball scatters. So, the Dwarves aren't too worried about the position of the ball currently. The Orc team's not particularly fast. They're faster than Dwarves, but they're not amazingly fast. So the Dwarves are happy to take their blocks before they secure the ball. The 2 guys on the left are protecting quite well. So we're going to see our first Mighty Blow hit on alignment here. Now, for you guys who aren't familiar with Blood Bowl 2, maybe you play Blood Bowl or Blood Bowl 1, or on Fumble, Tabletop, whatever way. In Blood Bowl 2, you'll be able to tell if the armor has been broken by the animations. If the camera doesn't change and the player falls to the ground, that means it's not a successful armor break. However, if we get the close-up animation of the player and you see him getting punched through the air, that means armor is broken and the player is going to be stunned, knocked out, or injured. Currently, looks like he's trying to target the guard pieces, which seems like a viable strategy. I think it won't come down to who loses a piece first. It will come down to who loses the important pieces in this game. Both players are going to want to protect their guard with their lives, really, more than anything else, because as soon as the guard starts to fall, you'll lose the fight.
One thing I'm really hoping to see is some cheeky chain push surfing. That's what I think would be best for this game. Now the dwarves do have the two Troll Slayers, which means they have both Frenzy and Dauntless. That should help them surfing. But of course the orcs do have a stand firm, which actually prevents that.
Yeah, Frenzy is the surfing skill of choice, definitely. One thing I'll say with the dwarfs are usually the tougher team, and while they do have thick skull, 4 of their players are actually armor 8. And we can see them already getting into a traditional looking cage, a little bit wider, more like an anti-leap cage than a standard 5-man cage. But they look very defensive to me already.
One advantage of this setup is that the guard runner is not able to be blitzed, as same as the ball carrying runner, which also allows him to position him freely when he needs him somewhere else.
I do wish the Orcs had taken Mighty Blow on that stand firm guy. I can see the stand firm, but I'd love to see the Mighty Blow guy going to work on the armor 8s. I think that's one of the keys to unlocking dwarfs in this matchup. I mean, he can still target them by all means.
Yes, having some Mighty Blow also helps against Armor 9. It's not just against the weaker teams. You will need a bit more luck for it, but, hit them enough with Mighty Blow and they will break. A more counterintuitive pick for me was Leader on the Black Orc. I think that's it's a great skill, but I don't think it's worth it for Orcs over, probably just block on a Black Orc or even
He
guard.
took that very early. He had that Leader Black Orc. I was in the knockout stages of the World Cup. I played Spartako, he beat me in round 2, and he had the Leader Black Orc back then. So it was quite an early pickup for his team.
Of course, one thing to consider is that they really want to save their money in order to spend it on inducements, most likely a wizard, which you can do with very little side effects. So spending money on a reroll really costs you potentially a wizard later on.
He did only play with 2 rerolls, which is not the usual starting build for Orcs. Usually Orc teams would take 3. However, there is the minor change in Blood Bowl 2, where the blitzers cost 10k more than they would traditionally. And also, he opted for a 12-man roster from the outset. So we're just in a failed dodge here, which he will not reroll. I don't think he'll want to burn a reroll on that. It was only a lineman.
It's interesting to note, by the way, that the change in Black Orc prices, in Blitzer prices for the Orcs will be reverted at some point in the near future.
Yeah, that was officially mentioned on Reddit by Nathias, the Focus Home Interactive community manager. So the Orcs are basically set up now to make it as difficult as possible for the Dwarves to get any sort of block. It's almost their default setup for kicking, but without an LOS. So they're gonna force the dwarfs to get involved. They're not gonna give them anything for free.
Well, they are certainly outgunned when it comes to Mighty Blow, so preventing as many blocks as they can is probably a really good idea for them. And the dwarves really need to get connected in order to get their blocking game on, to make some progress towards the opponent end zone. So I think this is a good play for the Orcs. If they can manage to keep this distance while also not allowing the dwarves forward too much, I think they're doing a good job.
Well, the thing is, as soon as they go into base-to-base contact, they're going to get counter-blocked. They're going to get blocked back because the Orcs match them on guard and outstrength them with the Black Orcs. So as soon as the players become tangled, it's very difficult for the Dwarfs or the Orcs to disengage. So it's all going to come down to the positioning of the guard and who can chain the most blocks together. Because like you said earlier, whoever can throw enough blocks will eventually do some damage. The Black Orc on the corner is quite worrying as well, because if he stands his guy up, he's given a free way in for the Black Orc here.
The Longbeard who's standing on the corner will not want to just stand up, I think. He might try and dodge him out, I suppose.
Yeah, with armor 9, it's not too risky. No, he just chooses not to stand him up.
So a dodge for an agility 2 when it doesn't go into a tackle zone is a 4+, which means a 50-50 chance. And given the armor 9 and thick skull, it's relatively risk-free. So he might well have chosen to dodge him out, see whether it works. But I guess he just doesn't want to risk a freak armor break and losing a player to that.
It's always the risk-free things that end up injuring your players as well. So it looks here like they might try to chain push the Dwarfs to create an opening to put a Black Orc in. Depends how aggressive Spartako wants to get. There's no need for him to get aggressive, but if he's feeling particularly leery and wants to put some pressure on, he could actually push the side of the cage over and start putting Black Orcs in. And of course, once the Black Orcs start marking Dwarfs 1-to-1, it becomes a problem because they have to bring in 2 assists to get a 2-dice block. So he is going to clear the corner.
I expect he won't want to maintain this right flank that we see here because the Dwarves aren't really fast enough to change sides there. So those players are probably going to want to come in a bit more.
They may even come forward, the 2 Black Orcs. They may even come to the right of the Dwarfs and just start compressing them in. Because the more condensed they are, the harder it is for them to go anywhere.
Exactly. They're already kind of stuck on the left-hand side here. They can move to the right, but then they'll just be substituting that for moving forward, which is what they really want to do.
This wall is tough to deal with. I mean, at some point, Knockoff is just going to have to commit. He's just going to have to throw his guard into the wall and try and punch a hole.
Yeah, he'll have to do so without compromising his cage, though, because Spartako is a very experienced coach, and if he sees a hole that he can take advantage of, then he will definitely make sure to punish any deficiencies in positioning.
Yeah, as you can see, none of the guard are sitting together. They're all one space apart, so they can get maximum benefit from them. He's keep the Black Orcs on each flank. He hasn't actually chosen to move those 2 Black Orcs, though. I'm not sure. Again, it's not my place to question coaches that are better than me, but I almost think I would like to start to put some pressure on the Dwarfs here. Bring those guys forward just a touch. Don't overcommit, because obviously Black Orcs are very slow. But I don't see the harm in stopping that side movement. So if he brought them forward there, that Troll Slayer literally couldn't move where he just did.
The thing is that at the moment the Dwarves are not getting past anyway, and I think he wants to delay committing those Black Orcs until he knows where the Dwarves are going to be. As long as he doesn't give up a single free block in a turn, he's already doing his job, and as soon as he needs those players, he wants them available to move in.
Oh, that always feels bad. 3 mighty blows on your team, and you're not blitzing with 1. That's never fun. Wouldn't have mattered anyway, as it stands. It does look like the Dwarfs are trying to move to the right now.
Which cannot be a comfortable position to be in. They don't have the space to make a cage there, and they have those Black Orcs to contend with, so it looks like he's really struggling and trying to find some way to advance. Now, this works very well if you're the faster team of the 2, but Dwarves are in fact the only team that is even slower than Orcs. So
yeah,
they're gonna have a
Dwarfs
hard
never
time.
get to be the faster team.
They're going to have a very hard time doing anything zigzagging here. So, but they are trying to get a push on, establish a foothold in that part of the pitch, so that they can block their way free there next turn and then maybe advance.
They're going to give up a block on their runner here as well, potentially. Never a good feeling, letting your runners get hit. They are resilient little guys, the Dwarfs, though. Thick Skull obviously means that you need at least a 9 on your injury dice to remove them from the pitch, which I believe is about a 26% chance? Or is it even less? So, looks like Dwarfs have committed now back to the middle. They're actually moving slightly backwards. The ball has stayed in line with where it was before. No progress forward.
Well, so like I said, the priority here is not so much on where the cage is as where their area of influence is, and that is established by those 3 Dwarves who've moved forward from the line of scrimmage and are trying to get connected next to these.
I think they're going to get swiftly beaten back here.
That is my expectation as well, yes.
Does mean he has to use the thrower, who doesn't have block, so there'll be a 1 in 9 chance that he turns over on his block. So he uses Beppe, the guard dodge blitzer first.
He could even make a 3-die on the thrower or on the runner if he really wants to.
Yeah, if he wants to commit the guard right round the other side, or push him forward into the corner. I don't think you want to give up a free hit on the guard blitzer, though.
Well, he is a blodge one, the one that just blitzed, so the Troll Slayer isn't the most dangerous person to him anyway.
And he's actually dangerous to himself if he frenzies forward.
Exactly,
I think I'd be satisfied with a 2-dice block here. 3 rerolls in hand, so you've got the choice if you need it. I don't think there's a need to commit 5 players to 1 block there. That's a lot of players for 1 block.
Also, if he makes a 2-die and it's a push like it is now, then he gets another shot at it with the Black Orc.
He gets to hit him again anyway. And with the positioning here, they're unable to break through those 2 guys now. Even if they knock down one of the blitzer or the thrower, they won't get through.
Stand firm guy is also in a good spot there, because that's where the Dwarves really want to exert their influence. And it also means that they cannot really blitz hold Gold Flask here free, which they might want to do.
So it'll be turn 4 at least before the Dwarfs bring the ball into the Orc half. That's not the progress they need to be making. And it doesn't look like they're going anywhere soon here.
That's usually the tactics versus Dwarves, especially when you're not an agility team. It's not about stealing the ball, it's just about slowing them down enough that they'll get desperate and do something foolish, or that they'll just resign to their fate and not score in their half, which means you've got your half to draw out a score and win 1-0 if you have to.
Yeah, take it as slow as possible. I mean, Dwarfs don't want to score before turn 8, but at the moment, it doesn't look like they're going anywhere because Longbeard on the left, Grimos, is tied up. The Longbeard on the right is marked, and they're going to get another hit on the runner. So you see the Black Orcs are slightly coming in now. He's willing to give up a bit more space, although he does just replace it with a lineman. But he's starting to squeeze in with those strength 4 players, and just start to see where he can push his luck.
It's merely a push though, so the runner is not hurt right now, and that does mean he has a bit more positioning space to make sure his players are in the right spot, especially since all 3 guards are available to move around. That might just give him enough push that he can get somewhere next turn.
Providing they don't get beaten back again, because at the moment the Dwarfs are being restricted to 1 block per turn and 1 square of movement per turn. And this turn, there's nowhere they can go. So he's actually started to stand up these Longbeards now.
Yeah, it's always the problem in these kinds of matchups that if you're roughly even matched in strength and in guard, the side that has the ball needs to keep some players behind to protect the ball, which means that even though your average strength might be enough, you'll have players left behind protecting the ball, which might just cost you the blocking battle, essentially.
So the Troll Slayers decided to get pretty deep here into the fight. Obviously the frenzy skill means that he gets to follow up and make another block if his first block is a push, but it also means that he has to follow up. He doesn't get a choice in the matter. So that might have actually put him in a tough spot here to get blocked from blitzer number 1, Beppe. And with armor 8, he's slightly more vulnerable than the rest of the Dwarfs. Again, it just seems like Knockoff doesn't know where to go. He's got Orcs to the left, Orcs to the right.
He realizes that he needs to get connected, but he doesn't want to give up anything that will get him into an even worse spot. So he's in quite a difficult situation. Agreed.
I think a player of Spartako's level will find the solution. You know, each setup is a puzzle to be solved.
This looks like a potential chain push situation here.
Maybe. There's definitely enough Dwarfs at the front. These 2, the guard guy and the Mighty Blow Troll Slayer, are definitely going to get blocked away, for sure. He's obviously going to get a free block on Grimos, but like I said, at some point the Dwarfs are going to just have to get in with the Orcs. They're not going to score if they stand off. So Knockoff's going to have to find the best position he can and just go for it. So it looks like he's just throwing men forward here.
Yeah, so by positioning that blitzer there, he makes it so that the chain push options at least do not give Spartako a clear shot at the ball. It also helps to commit more players forward, hopefully having them not all knocked down so that he can do some blocking of his own next turn. But of course it does mean he's giving up lots and lots of punches, and we can be sure that Spartako will take the fullest advantage of that he can.
Think here, what you'll see what he's done as well is he's made sure he tied up all 3 of the Orc guard players, so they have no option to reposition, because the guard is what will leverage him the blocks he wants, and if he can't move any of them, it lets Knockoff dictate the terms of the next turn. Someone in chat commented, why didn't Spartako go for putting a guy on the ball carrier before when he had the option? Now the reason for that most likely is because the Dwarves wouldn't have had any problem blocking off one Black Orc from the ball. That Black Orc is then on the floor and will soon get left behind because he can't move very fast. So Spartako chose to maintain his defensive position rather than try and pressure the ball and hope for a bit of crazy luck in that they weren't able to knock him down. It's more likely than not that the Black Orc would have gone down, so his position would have been wasted.
Exactly. As long as he can stop the Dwarves by standing 1 square away from them rather than getting in touch, he's going to keep doing that. He'll only commit once he has to, which he's probably doing this turn. But as long as he can keep the Dwarves back without actually committing himself or giving up position, he's just going to keep at that. Rolling pushes though.
Spartako will not be looking to steal and score. Simply stopping the Dwarves scoring will be considered a win for him. Faster teams would look to steal the ball if they can and actually score on your drive, mainly because they don't know how long they will last on the pitch. The Orcs will be satisfied with completely holding the Dwarves off, which I think at the moment they're doing a cracking job of doing. I would have liked to have seen this. I want to see this Troll Slayer go down though, because he's quite a threat where he is at the moment. I think they're going to have to blitz that Troll Slayer because he's in a perfect position to punch a hole right now.
It seems pretty likely, and if they do, they can choose to chain push him and push someone else further back. Probably the guard runner, pushing himself a little bit.
It also gives Matty 8, the lineman, a chance to dodge away. So we'll likely see one of the Black Orcs block off this guy. Yep.
By keeping the Dwarves back. This situation with the failed dodge does not create a hole that the Dwarves can really take advantage of, and as long as he doesn't give up that chance, he's fine with hanging on to his rerolls. If the Dwarves do make a crazy escape somewhere, he wants those rerolls to be able to respond to that situation and make sure that he can drag down any potential receivers or any breakaway ball carriers or stuff like that.
I think Knockoff needs to make so much more progress right now. He's just nowhere near where he needs to be, and he's got to be frustrated with Spartako's positioning because it's been impeccable. You can't fault his positioning so far. It does look like the Orcs are slightly lighter on the left-hand side, but even blitzing a guy out the way here, the Orcs are faster. I mean, it feels weird to say it, but the Orcs are faster, so they're just going to not fight back.
I just say the Dwarves are slower. That sounds better.
I know. So pushes, and this will be a GFI as well. GFI here. Which he makes. And he does get his knockdown with Mighty Blow. Now, this guy is also the Orc's third reroll, so this could be huge. No damage. However, that Black Orc's going to have a tough time getting back on his feet now. In fact, he probably won't get back on his feet for at least the next couple of turns.
He might try dodging him out at the end of his turn, but he's in a really, really tough spot. Agreed. Now, he still has... so Spartako still has enough players to swing around and set up a protective side over here. His positioning was good enough that he can afford to give them this much space. Now, he can really lock them down on the left flank.
Once they commit to a side, they're in trouble. I think. I don't think he'll fully commit. I think he'll leave enough guys spread out that he can change his mind. Because once he's trapped on that left, I think Spartako's going to shut him down. He's gonna. He's not gonna get a shot.
He's only got one more turn to change his mind though, because he's got 3 turns after this. If he switches sides right now, then after that he's just got to run straight for it, which is going to be next to impossible most likely.
Yeah, potato play. So it looks like he's considering here actually leaving that left-hand break but keeping the ball where it is, which I think is quite a reasonable play. No, okay, so he's definitely moving the ball now. I actually didn't mind keeping the ball where it is and leaving that break, because then the Orcs have to cover both.
He might still do that if he moves this last Longbeard over to guard the cage corner.
Yeah.
That will get someone in contact with the ball, but it means the Orcs are more spread thin. Nope, the ball carrier is moving to the left flank.
So I disagree with that. I think his best shot there was to try and spread the Orcs a bit thin, because they couldn't cover the left and the ball as effectively there.
Well, the Orcs cannot fully commit to the left flank because we still have this blitzer in the middle who can serve as a receiver for a breakaway play, which means they need to still keep an eye on this mid-right area over here. But then again, he has these 2 Black Orcs anyway. They're not going to do much more than keep an eye on those guys. So there isn't too much potential on the right flank at the moment.
He's perfectly counted out the squares, so the guard blitzer on the right can't blitz the ball without making quite an exciting dodge.
Well, it's a 3+ and 2 GFIs, right?
No, he has to make the 4+ to get the blitz on the ball.
Ah, yes. 4+, 3+. Yeah, that's not very likely.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't let him have the 3+, 2 GFIs, especially with 3 rerolls, because you'd probably take that at the end of your turn. So this is going to be about positioning the guards here so that the Orcs can get their hits off.
At this point, giving up a hit on the ball might not even be the worst thing, because it might just draw the Orcs to focus on the ball rather than the wall. And the wall is the real point for the Dwarves anyway. And I think that even if it had been a 3+, 2+, 2+, he might not have taken the bait, simply because the one doing the blitz would also be the only one who could reach the ball. So committing anything to that line of offense might actually weaken his defensive position.
Especially missing 1 Black Orc on the left here. So that's a huge show of strength.
He doesn't need to remain missing though, because there is a chain push option here, which would actually free up the Black Orc if he blitzes the blitzer into those 2 guys behind him. Blitzes the Troll Slayer into the guys behind him. Then he can free up the Black Orc again on the side.
He has to make a GFI to do that though, so that'll probably be at the end of the turn. And it will also mean his guard guys on the line. I think he's going to want to get his guard. Yeah, I think he's just working out where to put his 2 guard guys.
The GFI failed.
You're like a second ahead of me.
Rerolling that.
Oh, he only got a 2 on the reroll as well. And he still doesn't knock anyone down.
Just a push means the Black Orc is not freed up here. That's definitely unfavorable for Spartako.
I think his block dice have been pretty unlucky. He hasn't knocked many dwarfs down. However, he doesn't need to do any damage. He just needs to keep them back. Now with no reroll, he's got to be a bit cautious here, because 1 failed action could obviously give the dwarfs an opening, which we don't want to do.
I wonder if he will hang on to his defensive position in the center here, or whether he will commit that next guard blitzer called Roller over to the left flank. He's probably not going to be dodging out.
No, the lone Black Orc I think would be too vulnerable if he commits his other guard blitzer. I think that will be the opening the dwarfs are looking for. I wouldn't actually be surprised if we see him try and dodge these guys away, because with the 2 guards positioned where they are, there's no option for blocks here.
Well, still, just having them blocked away means that the Dwarves are using 3 of their players not to advance, and the Dwarves really want to push ahead. And with no reroll for this turn, those dodges cannot be looking too... Oh,
there you go.
Well,
he did choose to make the dodge,
failed.
but he failed the first one. So this, if anything, is the one chance Dwarfs are going to get. And there's some great chain pushes here in the center as well. He can't chain push the stand firm, but he can push the other guys out the way. He will need to knock down the stand firm if he wants to pour through this middle.
But he does have that opportunity, especially since the first block is a knockdown. That means he gets his guard assist on the stand firm, so he will not be pushing the stand firm because he knows he cannot chain push him away, I think. But yeah, exactly. So we see him chain pushing another orc.
Mighty blow as well. Mighty blow finally coming to work.
Yes.
In fact, yes, it was Mighty Blow. Turned a 7, which is a stun, into an 8, which is a KO. However, an 8 would not be a KO on a dwarf because they have thick skull. And that's definitely cheating. Stupid dwarfs.
Yes, keyboard head bashing and stuff. We heard.
Right. So it's quite gamble though. Because if he doesn't, you know, any other player, you could just push them and still get through the gap. However, the stand firm guy, it's a knockdown or nothing. So he's obviously going to use the Troll Slayer to give himself 4 dice instead of 2. And I actually think he has to re-roll this as well. If he doesn't
the stand firm is a blitzer though, so he's only got strength 3, which means he already has an assist on it, and he can blitz him away with anyone he wants. And I think a POW or a POW push is 55% or so.
Yeah.
So with the reroll, that's well over 75%. Pretty good play, I think. But
I still think I used the Troll Slayer to give myself the second opportunity.
Yeah, that works, of course. Yes.
Because a push isn't good enough.
He'd need a second assist there, though, because if he chooses not to stand firm and comes from this side,
yeah,
then
he's moved another guard forward just for that very reason, and he does use the Troll Slayer.
And it's a POW, which means he is through for the moment.
I don't think he can get that far though, because
that's exactly the problem.
He's got a thrower 1 square to the left and a Black Orc 1 square to the right. So unless he gets 2 squares clear of the thrower, he's got nowhere he can set up his cage.
That's always the thing about this kind of positioning. It's not just about not leaving a hole. It's about preventing the spot where the cage would like to be, and then making sure that the corners of the would-be cage are connected, which allows you to really mess up his positioning in your own turn.
So if the dwarves commit to what they look like they're about to do, the Troll Slayer is the weak point here. He's marked. He's going to get hit.
Those 2 blitzers, though, they have the opportunity to move forward a bit, and they might actually have to turn into receiving threats, which is not the way you want to play as dwarves, but at the moment I think they'll take what they can get. And it does mean that the orcs need to defend against multiple things at the same time, hopefully leaving a hole in one of those different plans.
We might see a handoff here. We might see a handoff to one of the blitzers. So now, finally, he's decided to throw Longbeards at Black Orcs. And this is what I think he should have done quite a few turns ago. Because the Black Orcs without block, you know, they're a liability. They can eat up the Orc rerolls very quickly or cause turnovers. And I think Knockoff, considering he's got an armor 9 thick skull team against no Mighty Blow, I almost think he's been a little bit timid with his players.
We've seen that before against Malak, where we also thought that he wasn't committing quite to the level you would expect him to.
I mean, if he's too scared to engage Skaven like that, you can't imagine how he's feeling against Orcs. He must be absolutely terrified right now of those big, scary green guys.
However, we also know that unlike most dwarves, these ones can really pass.
Yeah, 6+ passes into outrageous plays. Well, hopefully he won't rely on that again.
Well, actually, I think it would make for some very entertaining viewing to see these little dwarves try and chuck that ball down the field. I'm kind of hoping we will.
We definitely haven't had the excitement of the previous game. However, this is big. A GFI fail. He doesn't want to double one this, obviously. And he does!
Oh,
he's double won it. He's down. The ball is going
Snakes.
loose. The Orcs have a huge opportunity here.
That is amazing. This is like the second GFI he rolls, and it's Snake Eyes. That is pretty dreadful for the Dwarves. They needed one break to get through here. They did not get it, and now the Dwarves are looking to see. The Orcs are looking to see whether they can still score in this, but first priority will have to be securing that ball in the first place. Now he does have an Agility 4 thrower. He has this Blodge Guard Blitzer on the left, Beppe, who's available to mark things up over there, get in the way of the Dwarves. This does not look good for Coach Knockoff.
Does he try the absolutely outrageous, though? Does he try and grab it with that thrower, get it to Roller, and run away with it? It doesn't look like he's going to. I think he's just going to play it safe, secure the ball, and finish the Dwarf drive. And that was an absolutely huge GFI.
I have to admit that that play that you just suggested sounded pretty darn tempting to me, because between Agility 4 and pass on the thrower, really the main risk is an Agility 3 catch, which you can use a 2 reroll for. The 1 in 9, and that would see him running down the pitch with the ball, meaning the Dwarves don't have a shot, and the Orcs might actually end this drive 1-0.
Because if you get the ball to that blitzer and he goes down, the Dwarves aren't scoring, which is exactly the same situation as you've got now. I mean, even if he fumbles the pass, it's still quite unlikely that the Dwarves are scoring.
The problem is that he doesn't have enough free players to commit to the ball before trying that play, which means if it fails, he doesn't actually secure the ball, and he might be looking at a problem. So he's taking the 0-0 halftime score, which is already a huge win for the Orcs, and just accepting for the moment that the potential even better outcome is too risky, because if he plays the 0-0 half, he's already won half the game. So that's worth settling for, apparently.
I don't know. I think risk versus reward there. I mean, if you get 1-0 on the Dwarf drive, then you've won almost there pretty much, because you can just put the ball in a defensive position and force the Dwarfs to overcommit to it. There's nothing they can do.
Oh, double skulls!
But he has a reroll.
Is good, so the Slayer goes down.
Can we see a dead Slayer? We want to see some damage here. We really do. This is one of the disadvantages of casting an all armor 9 game, or a mostly armor 9 game, is you don't get the excitement and the blood that we've seen. We've seen one KO on an Orc Blitzer, who has a 50-50 to come back at half time, which is looking like it will be half time. Doesn't look like there'll be a second drive here.
And even if he doesn't, it's not a big problem. He has a 12th player. I mean, sure, it's a lineman, but the body count is probably the most important thing. So he can afford to go one blitzer short and replace him with a lineman.
And it's not a guard. It's not a guard blitzer. That would be the key. If it was a guard guy, it would be different. In fact, if it was a guard guy, we may have even seen him Apo it.
I think we might have, yes. Especially late in the first half, KO Apo is pretty good.
So the Dwarfs have got an absolutely crucial turn coming up now. Turn 7 is very important, as is turn 15, because anyone who is not able to score at the end of turn 7, who is not in a position to score, will not be scoring. So Knockoff has to do two things this turn. He has to get the ball back off of the Orcs in the first place, and have people available to score that aren't easily countered. And with the speed of the Dwarfs and the majority of the Dwarf teams sitting on the left-hand side of the pitch, neither of those things is going to be particularly easy. I think we're going to see a play here that is not risk-averse. I think it's going to be quite a risky play that he's going to have to do, because he simply has no choice. However, I do wish that Spartako had made at least a threat or a beeline towards scoring, because that would be even worse for the Dwarfs. There's no easy play here. At best, he's going to have to make a dodge. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the blitzer could do a 3+ dodge towards the touchdown line, come around the Orc blitzer and blitz the ball carrier. That seems like the most likely way they're going to get the ball loose here. However, that still involves
I
a
don't think
3+.
that's going to be their priority. I think he wants to make sure he gets that stand firm guy down because he's the one orc who could still score. He might just focus on that first.
Maybe, but I don't like giving up the half like that.
Well, they don't need the blitz action for it, so they can just make sure that they've
You could just
accomplished that.
hit. You could just hit him with the troll slayer here, can't he? Yeah. I don't feel that Spartako's aiming to score here anyway. I think he's happy enough. He's happy enough with just stalling them out, which doesn't make for an exciting game. But again, you can never blame these players for taking the safest option. With this amount of money on the line, you know, in this sort of pressure, players will often take the absolute safest option rather than the most fun or entertaining option, because how you play for enjoyment is very different to how you play for $1,000+.
It's good Blood Bowl instead of sexy Blood Bowl. Yes.
I would have loved to have seen a Wood Elf Skaven final or something like that for fun Blood Bowl, because that would be fun and good.
To be fair, a finals between Lizardman and Skaven is a hell of a lot more fun than I anticipated when I saw the total matchup in the best 64.
We didn't want a dwarf mirror.
Dwarves and so many dark elves, and it's very nice to see teams like Lizardman and Skaven make it to the finals. I'm very happy about that, and just the diversity. The fact that we have 4 different teams in the top 4 is already very, very cool to me.
It's actually quite refreshing for the format, because a lot of people had their concerns about the format and the dominance of dwarfs and stuff like that, and actually 4 completely unique races, including Lizardmen, who wouldn't be considered a top tier tournament team out of the box. You know, they're okay with skill sets like predefined, but out of the box they're not great knockout tournament style. So props to Guinness, who's probably playing the lowest tier team in the final.
I think that's right. Lizards do very well, but you really need those skills on the Saurus, and obviously that's very hard to do in a format where you really don't want to risk those 5+ handoffs that people often risk when building a Lizard team in the first place. So I agree that it's very, very cool to make it this far with a team that is handicapped in such a way.
And having only just started Blood Bowl when Blood Bowl 2 came out as well. So you notice the stand firm blitzer was not moved or knocked down. So he could in theory score. However, he's got quite a bit of work to do if he wants to. And I suspect here, in fact, I can almost guarantee here that Spartako will do the safe thing, protect the ball, and just be happy with the 0-0 half-time score rather than go for the greed. Because all he has to do here is knock down both the runner and the blitzer, and he is guaranteed that the Dwarves cannot score. There is no other scoring option. Both of those players are already based, so he doesn't even need to blitz them. He can just block. However, with the lack of free players, I think we might see here the thrower go for a blitz, which is kind of risky.
He doesn't need to use the thrower to blitz with, though. He can use the thrower to assist, then blitz with one of the blitzers, move him around to do the other block. That way he doesn't risk knocking the ball loose on a 1 of 9.
That's the other option.
Oh, that's not what he does, though. He goes into the corner, which is actually a very, very solid play, because if the ball gets surfed there, chances are it's not going to be where the Dwarves can retrieve it.
I'm not sure I want my Agi 4 thrower being surfed, though, I would say. So he's going to blitz free the Black Orc to provide the assist onto the runner, I imagine, because the blitzer doesn't have an easy path to the ball.
In fact, the blitzer cannot get there. With 2 GFIs, he's still just marking and not surfing, which is why this is a great play, because as long as he gets this runner down, the ball is actually safe where it is right now.
And this is a disaster in game 1 for Knockoff.
Yes, he goes down. The Dwarves have the half. Now, obviously, they're not going to score.
The Orcs have the half, you mean?
Sorry, the Orcs have the half. Yes, thank you very much, Lewpac. That's exactly what I meant to say, but failed at.
And he still gets a few free blocks. He gets a tasty block on this guard Mighty Blow Longbeard. Not likely that he does any damage, of course, but you never know. I mean, you can sometimes get really lucky and just start injuring dwarfs, as we saw from Malek. game 1 of the semi-final between Malak and Knockoff. Malak absolutely tore the Dwarfs a new one. He was hammering them. And
But
that's
it wasn't
without
just the
Mighty
dice,
Blow,
though.
without Claw. No. He actually...
It was really the number of blocks.
He actually threw as many blocks. He was 8 blocks short of the Dwarfs, which was very impressive.
Yeah, he played the Skaven the way many people like to play their Dark Elves, in terms of not just defending a square away, but making your blocks when you can. And I think the Dwarves kind of let him do that. Like we said before, they weren't playing connected enough, weren't throwing enough blocks. As a result, the Skaven could really play as if they were a match in terms of strength and in terms of blocking ability. And that's never really good for Dwarves. Of course, the difference in armor dice did not help at all.
I like that dodge there. Gives him another free block. Again, you don't expect to do much work here, but A, it's a block they're not throwing at you, and B, you got that really low chance of doing some damage.
He's once again managed not to give a single free block away, which is definitely very helpful when you're playing against 3 Mighty Blow.
There's one block in the middle, Longbeard onto a lineman. That's his only one.
Oh, sorry, I missed that due to the skill overlay. Thank you. So he might actually be going for a vanity pass on turn 8, because that thrower only needs 4 more star player points to skill, which could be a pass now and a touchdown in the second half.
Yeah, we imagine he's going to be the primary ball carrier for the Orcs.
So that means he could be looking at a block thrower for the second match.
Would you go with the block? With agility 4, you've got a few other options. I don't know. Block seems most consistent. I definitely think there's some other options though.
The thing is, with agility 4, you can already dodge away. You can already make very reliable passes. You can already make very reliable pickups. Really, the only 2 skills that thrower wants are block and dodge. And against Dwarves, you don't want dodge.
Nerves of steel. Nerves of steel. No, definitely not. Strong arm? No, that's a strength skill.
No, I
Hail Mary,
don't see
Hail
any...
Mary, or no balls.
No, if you really want to use him as a thrower, you could give him accurate, but I don't think Spartako will be even considering that. Against Dwarves, block is just a great skill. Make sure that if there is a random hit on your carrier, the chances of him going down is a lot less likely.
That's important, actually. I was thinking long-term development, but of course for both of these teams there is no more games. This best of 3 series is the last games these teams will ever play, most likely, unless they get brought out in a friendly or for fun.
Well, there are some private leagues which accept teams that have played in other leagues before, but even then, that's obviously not what they're playing for, what they're being built for. The long-term perspective is if this best of 3 goes to 3 matches. That's long-term for these teams, which is tonight.
Plus some of the private leagues that accept every team, there's some suspect teams in those leagues.
No doubt. Unless you actually manually check stuff, you're going to have all of the cheaters and griefers down there.
It's a shame, really. I would have liked to have seen a league. I would have liked to have seen a league where ex-World Cup, both qualifier teams and qualified teams could play, because a lot of people had teams they really liked, especially in qualifying. I know I had a few that I was quite fond of, and it's kind of a shame never to get to play those teams again.
And the quality of play was a lot higher than it is on average in the COL, so that was nice. So this just about wraps up this half. The second half will be cast by kKnoor and Crendor, so stay tuned for that. And it was a pleasure casting with you again, Lewpac, and I'll see you later tonight again.
You will. So, to bring the proceedings to a halt, we're going to see the Dwarfs form up. Will they decide to foul here? I don't think they will, because this still could go all the way to overtime, and they're not going to want to risk this. Oh, no. Okay.
Well, the thing is, they have 12 players. They have 12 players. The Orcs might just have 11. So if both of them go out, that's very beneficial. But unfortunately, it's merely a 7.
Neither. What was the ref doing? What was the ref doing? So, the Orc final turn. Oh, failed dodge on a runner. Obviously going to see the reroll because it's the final turn and there's 2 rerolls remaining. And he makes it. So he gets him into a protective position. I do really wish that the Orcs had a mighty blow though. I think that would benefit them more than the stand firm.
I'd be fine with them rolling some 10s actually, but seeing stuff break would definitely be
Makes
welcome.
it easier to cast when people get broken and smashed. So the Orcs here, what we suspect is they're going to take a single Vanity Blitz in the hope that suddenly some damage is done. You will notice from the Dwarf setup though that they've protected their runners quite well. I would say the guard runner's actually hittable though, so I imagine he will be the target of this blitz because the Orcs do not have to worry about the blocks that follow. So yeah, as we said,
There he goes.
the Black Orc comes in for the assist, the lineman stands up to cancel the assist of the Troll Slayer, and then one of the blitzers will come in and hit him. No, he does the lineman block. Interesting.
Because of a foul, maybe?
I
No,
don't
because then
know,
you foul
but
with the
see,
lineman.
that's what my initial thought was. I was like, did I miss a chain block? Oh, he broke armor. Oh,
Nearly a
he
stun, I
saved.
think. Too bad.
And if that was Mighty Blow, it would have been a KO, but then it wouldn't have been a KO because he would have rolled an 8 and then Pick Skull would have cancelled it because dwarfs are so good.
Yes, brilliant.
Fun and
Everyone loves
interactive.
their dwarves, don't they?
So we're going to see a cheeky little pass here. It'll be a 2+ pass, 3+ catch with a reroll. So he has a 1 in 36 chance of failing the throw, and a 1 in 9 chance of failing the catch.
And it won't matter a whole lot.
It won't matter either way, but actually it'll be quite nice to get this thrower leveled up, as you say. There's still potentially 2 games to be played. However, judging by this first half, I'm expecting Spartako to take this in 2.
It does seem like he's very, very in control of the game so far. But of course, you never know whether the dwarves will do better in the future.
The pass is successful. He gets that 1 star player point, and that will conclude proceedings because he's not going to foul. That's all from myself and Sage. Will we leave you in the hands of Crendor cKnoor for the second half? Currently it is 0-0, Knockoff Spartako, but don't be mistaken by the score. This is definitely a win for the Orcs. The Orcs are in control of this match.
Before we leave, bear in mind that both dwarves and orcs are better at defending a drive than at offense, so a 0-0 final score of this second half is not to be discounted yet. All right, over to you guys, kKnoor and Crendor.
See you later, guys.
Thank you very much. What are you feeling, Crendor?
Well, as you may have noticed, Black Liver had the ball.
Yeah.
And he rolled 2 1s, and he lost it. So again, I'm not saying, player names have a huge impact. All I'm saying is they have a huge impact.
That's one of the things I wanted to talk about in the pre-game session, but unfortunately we didn't have time. I wanted to point out that Spartako actually has some custom names on some of his players. For example, we did just see his KO'd Blitzer come back named Spartako.
That is true.
And there are some other ones here, which of course means that custom names clearly the superior team.
It is. There has to be some sort of code behind it. I guarantee it.
Yeah. It'll be interesting now as we're going into the second half, and it's the Orcs' turn to try and score. See what actually happened. First half, I think we can both agree, was very slow when it came to movement. Are you expecting? What do you think is going to happen? Are you thinking Spartako is going to try and go for the turn 16 touchdown here?
I think so. I think he knows that he's in the better position here, and because of that, he's gonna just try to slowly move down. I mean, he can pass the ball too, and use that against the slow-moving dwarves. However, they do have Sad Drunk and Angry Drunk, which great players at causing some chaos.
Yeah, those are the 2 Troll Slayers on the Dwarf team. The thing I find interesting about this format is, of course, that Knockoff first half did not go the way he wanted. Of course, he wanted it to end 1-0. The Dwarves, it was his drive. It might mean, and we kind of saw that at the end of the first half when the Dwarves came in and fouled one of the Black Orcs. This is the next game. There's going to be a game 2 regardless, and it might be important for coaches to actually think about. Okay, okay,
Touchback.
Touchback. That's
That'll help him.
that's really good for the Orcs. I'm expecting it to go to the thrower. Yep. The thing I was saying was that at some point it might be more interesting for the Dwarves to try and actually hurt the Orcs more than just try and stop them from scoring. We'll see how the second half plays out, but definitely Spartako at an advantage here.
Kind of like take his loss and try to damage him up for the next game.
Exactly. I mean, these are two teams, both of them, for the most part, armor value 9. I think the two exceptions are the thrower on the Orc team with plus agility, which is really good for the Orcs, and of course the two Troll Slayers, your favorite, Sad Drunk and Angry Drunk. They've also got armor value 7, so they might be slightly easier to hurt. And of course, if either of those pieces, or those 3 pieces really, are missing next game, that's gonna hurt either coach.
Yeah.
Oh, armor break. Nothing happening.
Nothing.
Oh, what a stun!
Well, he's done. It's something, but it's not what he wanted.
It's something. Exciting times. But I think it's kind of, I mean, it's what we expected on a Dwarf versus Orc game. It's hard to knock these pieces out.
It's a lot of bashing. It's a lot of bashing, but at the same time, it's bashing against walls that don't break very often.
Oh yeah, Stream Chat points out that the runners have armor value 8 as well on the Dwarf team, which, yeah, I totally forgot. Because who plays Dwarves, guys? That's not. Sometimes I feel like we are. I mean, Knockoff has played some amazing Blood Bowl, but the fact that it's Dwarves, kind of like I feel slightly bad when I'm like, ugh, Dwarves.
Yeah,
because
I mean, it's not about the coaches. It's more like just the team choices.
Yeah, and I mean, regardless, I feel like you're always gonna hate on Dwarves if you can.
Yeah,
because
obviously
Dwarves.
That's why I was excited that it's a Skaven Lizardmen final, which obviously I'll be going for Lizardmen as a Lizardmen aficionado, of course.
Well, I mean, obviously you're wrong there, because Skaven's going to win that. But it'll be a super interesting final. It'll be interesting to see what Spartako's approach here is. We saw that the Dwarves were... It took them a while in the first half to actually try and base the Orcs. The Orcs managed to push them back for a few turns. And, of course, the Orcs are faster than Dwarves, but it seems like they are putting some of the Black Orcs here on some of the... Oh, here we go. Well, the Blitz. Oh, and it's a POW.
Got him. Razor, or is that Razor or Baser Rock Bottom?
Baser, for some reason.
I should have named it Razor Rock Bottom.
It's not even a proper name.
Catchier. He probably would have withstood that hit if he was Razor.
Or he would have been, like, a lot easily injured.
Yeah.
They call me Racer because I've got racers all over my body because I'm an idiot. I'm a dwarf.
Well, he would injure other people in that case.
To be fair, though, I mean, dwarves wouldn't be touching racers anyways. Because
that's true. You got a point.
Yeah, so, I mean, Racer makes no sense. Baser, much smarter choice.
Mm-hmm. But I would say, in this situation, he's gotta get the drunks in there. They got the luck with their with how drunk they are. Yeah. Even though one's angry, one's sad.
Well, I mean, having frenzy and getting those extra blocks in, if you can do without being frenzy trapped. I mean, more block ties means you're going to knock down more pieces, and if you're going to knock down more pieces, you're probably going to knock out more pieces. And especially one of the it's the Angry Drunk that has the Mighty Blow skill, which means it's +1 to any armor or injury roll. So whoever that guy punches has essentially 1 less armor. Unless armor breaks naturally, then it's +1 on injury. So really
That's
good.
Especially useful in these games where everybody has really high armor value.
You know what? Okay, here we go. Getting some guard in front of the cage. I feel like there's a quite a large difference starting this half compared to the first half, in that both teams seems to be more okay with basing the other team, standing them next to, and possibly just going like, fine, I'll take the punches if I have to. I think it's because the Dwarves can't afford not to have things happen for a few turns. They need to get the ball early if they want to score this turn, which they're probably not trying to. They're probably just trying to stop the Orcs from scoring.
Yeah.
One of the things we haven't mentioned, which we probably should mention, or rather we should mention again before this half heats up too much, it's what the coaches are playing for. Lewpac mentioned it briefly, but of course these are the third place finishers. Third place in the Blood Bowl 2 World Cup brings you $1,500, a gaming laptop, plus a Strix 7.1 headphones, Gladius mouse and mousepad, and a Tactic Pro keyboard, and most importantly, of course, a 1-year NAF membership, which and a Focus Selection Pack and Battlefield Gothic Armada on Steam.
Not bad for being the best of the losers.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like that's you don't want to look at it like that, because I mean, it's gonna happen. This is the third place finisher, but holy crap, both of these coaches, of course, they made it a lot farther than like almost everyone else. There were two.
It's true.
There were two coaches that made it further.
But at the same time,
yeah.
you think back on most sports, and you're like, oh yeah, remember when this team won the championship? You're like, oh yeah, who won third place? And you're like, I don't know. But they don't actually win anything, so that's why this is a lot better.
Yeah. Fourth place finisher, of course, will get $1,000, a Strix 970 graphics card, and the Focus Selection Pack and Battlefield Gothic Armada, the same Strix 7.1 headphones, and Gladius mouse and mousepad, Tactic Pro keyboard, and of course a 1-year NAF membership. Just NAF. I mean, it's. I just like saying NAF. Makes me feel British.
British?
Well, everything's
NAF.
a bit NAF.
I don't know. That doesn't sound British to me. It just doesn't even sound like a word. It just sounds like a universal term for like a governmental agency.
When something's a bit NAF, it's a bit shit.
It's like, who's gonna handle the world hunger problem? Oh, that's NAF. NAF does that.
Yes, that's what they're doing when they're not admitting like Blood Bowl stuff. That's definitely what they're doing.
Of course.
Okay, going back to the game here.
Back on track.
The Orcs have actually tried to. I guess they're trying to hem in the Dwarves, just putting some extra pieces down here, making sure that the Dwarves can't make a solid line, so that the Orcs can get past them whenever they want to. Trying to make the most out of the Orcs more. It feels so strange saying that the Orcs are fast, but in this case they are.
It's all perspective. Beer belly getting shoved around too. Not his favorite day. He's just trying to digest his beer.
Okay, so both linemen here at the left and right hand side in front, they're nowhere close to actually scoring yet, but having them here on the side means that the Dwarves are not going to be able to run on the outside of the sidelines. They're essentially hemmed in for the most part. Like, they can't really go anywhere. They have to break through the middle, which is going to be rough.
Yeah.
But there are some blocks, and I mean, as soon as we can see 1 or 2 injuries, that might very well change the look and feel of this
Dynamic.
game. Yes.
I was actually just looking at the Goblin referee. He doesn't really seem to care very much.
Well, he's a goblin ref. He only cares if you give him money.
That's true. He's just waiting for that sweet bribe.
That's why he's so happy at the end of every coin toss, because he actually catches the coin again. He's like, yes, it's still mine. You got this.
It's a valid point.
But it's not much happening. Managing to knock down the leader Black Orc, which of course probably that's a piece you want out, because leader is a skill that means your team gets 1 extra reroll each half, assuming the piece is actually on the pitch. It's the reroll that's first used by your team, which means that if the Dwarves manages to injure the leader Black Orc, then the Orcs are down to 2 rerolls.
Shit, dude.
It's a bit rough, actually. There's been some contention and some discussion about putting leader on this Black Orc because it's not something you normally do. But I'm assuming Spartako felt like it was important to get that 3rd reroll as soon as possible. And here comes the Dauntless Blitz.
The Angry Drunk.
It's successful. That's a push, which means we're gonna see. And
angry.
This is really interesting, because we're going to be able to see some chain pushes here, and these chain pushes mean that the Dwarves can actually put a player on the ball.
Oh, it's gonna knock him down.
They manage. That is. The Orcs can definitely deal with this runner here. Pretty sure it's a runner. But it's just the fact that they have to deal with the runner is going to make things slightly more complicated than the Orcs want them to be. And just by that, there are now a bunch of Dwarves up in the Orcs' face.
Up in their grill.
Mm-hmm.
Right up in that giant grill.
Algernog keg stand, the Longbeard it's not the runner standing next to the ball carry now, being like, yeah, I've seen that ball before. What of it? What are you going to do with it? Give it to me? Possibly. Who knows? Unfortunately for the Dwarves, though, they don't have any of the guard pieces next to the Blitzer, so it's a 1-die block if they want to block the stand from Blitzer, which doesn't actually do much, but it's nice. It's nice to do.
Yeah, I was actually taking a look at the fans in the audience. You know, in sports games they always do like fan cam.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of doing that, and I'd have to give the fan cam to that orc drumming on his drums out in the stand. There's actually multiple orcs that look the same out in the stands. I'm
really sad. In the previous version of Blood Bowl Chaos Edition, there was an elf that was just wearing pants. He's no longer in the stands. I guess he got booted for like lewdness or something like that.
Wait, he wasn't wearing pants?
No, he was just wearing pants.
He was just wearing pants.
And this is, of course, the British term of. So, only wearing underwear.
I see.
Because elves.
Oh, yeah, elves.
They're weird creatures.
Weird.
Spartako's turn 11 here. Let's see if they can deal with all of these dwarves that somehow magically turned up to look at the ball carrier. It'll be interesting to see what the orcs do, because it's going to be hard to build a secure cage. Now, Spartako hasn't really built a cage up till this point. He just had a line and then tried to surround the dwarves. So I don't think he will, but just... I'm wondering if he has to commit to a side at this point, or if he feels confident enough that he can still stand around where the ball carrier is currently.
Well, I know you're saying everybody was saying he was a wood elf player, right?
Yeah.
Like that's his main race. So I feel like he's gonna try to do some wood elf plays coming up. I feel like he's gonna go around. I think he's gonna make a pass. I don't know if it'll be now. I don't know if it'll be later, but I feel like he's going to have to pass it at some point. I know it's going to go against your logic.
It started sounding like a very emotional sports movie speech. I don't know if it's going to be now. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow. But sometime in the future, someone is going to make a pass. And when that happens, something. And then...
Will you be there? Will you be ready to catch that pass? Matt A. B. or Dredolo. Will you be ready? Because I'll be ready to throw it.
Here we go. Nope. Clearly they heard you.
The music in the background, like, na, 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 na. It could be Jurassic Park.
Go for Chariots of Fire. I can't do. Damn it. Where's my kazoo at? Oh.
You just have a kazoo laying around?
Well, kazoos are great because it means you can hum stuff like that and it's not going to get tagged as copyrighted. Because like, someone playing a kazoo badly. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's true. Oh! And
nothing.
And he's got it's an AG4 thrower.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned that in chat too. So
yeah, so the thrower is probably, if a pass is going to happen, it's not going to be the thrower failing the pass. It's going to be the catcher failing the catch.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
But I mean, after that motivational speech, how could you drop that?
Oh, just had some inside information that apparently Spartako named some of his players after Italian players in the NAF or NAF.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So, I mean, it's good because then he has someone to blame if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Shift the blame. That's always fun.
It does seem like Spartako is clearing the right-hand side here, pushing some of the doors back, and there should be enough, possibly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I don't know if there's enough room for the thrower to really hide behind here, but he can definitely make a move. I think the Kolg Beerbelly, the Mighty Blow Blitzer that was recently knocked down in the top right, can still, if needed, well, now it's going to be a lot harder. Could still, if needed, dodge out and try and blitz the ball carrier, but moving the leader block, moving the leader Black Orc back one step is effectively going to stop any type of dodge blitz. Yeah,
can be their new unit, the Block Orc.
That's a decent orc. Like,
it starts with a block, and can have like.
So essentially, the blitzer is what you're saying.
No,
it's totally different orc.
Yeah, it's completely different orc. He can have 4 strength and 1 less movement, and block. There you go.
Great.
Oh wait, that's kind of like. Never mind.
I'm glad you're not making teams.
What? Dude, I'd make some great teams. Great teams. There'd be the Lizard Men, there'd be the Block Orcs, and that'd be it.
Solid. Definitely solid.
Very fun.
But it seems like Spartako has recovered here, and once again, putting the line orcs here in front, not so much as a scoring threat, but more to just make sure to limit the Dwarves' movement. They can, of course, possibly blitz through here and once again put some players onto the ball carrier, but it's gonna be slightly difficult. Pushing the Spartako blitzer back does free up Angry Drunk, though the Mighty Blow trolls there.
I'm looking at so I feel like Black Liver is going to have to make a play, and we all know Black Liver is going to fail. Well, I mean, it's just a given.
I mean, I think the problem for not Spartako, but Knockoff right now is that there are plays that can be made, but some of them rely on one-die blocks, which, I mean, okay, well, that solved that issue. Deciding to dodge out with Cold Filter, the Guard Runner instead, and suddenly there's a 2-die blitz on Roller, the block guard blitzer, and if that's successful, that does open up for more players next to the ball carrier.
And
This,
here it comes. The
This
blitz.
turns scary. Oh, and it's a
Got
pout.
it. And he can move right in
and
front
the
of him.
GFI is good. And that does leave Black Liver, that you talked about earlier, the runner, free to possibly also base the ball carrier if he wants to.
That is true.
There's also a frenzy block on the Black Orc on the left-hand side with Sadrunk, because Sadrunk failed the Dauntless, but that's still good. And it's done.
And stun.
That is
dude.
great news for the Dwarves, because it effectively frees up both the Blitzer and this Troll Slayer. Had it just been a knockdown, the Black Orc could have stood up again, and both of those pieces would have been stuck until one of them knocked the Black Orc down again.
Not as exciting.
No, it's this. I guess this is one of the. Now. Ooh, I don't know what Spartako is going to
Can't
do
put
here.
words together.
No, it's words difficult. There are of course things he could do. Having an agility 4 thrower means that if Spartako wanted to dodge out with the thrower, it's only a 2+. And Spartako does still have 3 rerolls. And an extra apothecary, which I guess he must have bought with inducement money? Can we get a double check
And he
on that?
probably bought it with gold.
Yeah, I
Tried
would
to take a
assume.
wild
I
guess
would
here.
assume so. We totally missed that earlier, I think. But an extra apothecary on Spartako. I guess Spartako expected more injuries. Well, I don't think it's an injury case. I think it's more of a, as soon as something important, you kind of want to make sure that you still have that piece.
Yeah. The old push fest.
Okay, but it's. I just don't guess they'll have to. Okay,
Is he gonna like dodge out of that and then?
I mean, he
run?
has he can't clear both of those both of these dwarves, because of course he only has 1 blitz per turn. So the safest move would be to dodge out and then run back towards the middle.
Yeah.
Because that's where he has 2 Black Orcs, 2 of his guard blitzers, the Stand Firm and the Blodge blitzer. Hi, Thursday. My cat wants to watch Blood Bowl too. Yeah, she's very into Blood Bowl.
Cats are very into Blood Bowl.
It's all the dice rolling.
Yeah.
They love it.
Cats are big gamblers, big dice rollers. Nothing like a good dice game.
Oh, that's Cold Filter showing once again that he's the runner to be scared of.
He's the superior runner. Telling you.
Yeah, and using the reroll there means that it's going to be slightly riskier for. I mean, if Spartako decides to dodge away, then there's no reroll if the dodge is a 1. And we saw the Snake Eyes stopping in part Knockoff from scoring in the first half. Well, see if Spartako will get equally unfortunate.
All
Might
I'm
not
saying
even-
is, if they would have used Cold Filter as their runner for all these games, be a different game. I think he'd be playing in the championship. That's all I'm saying.
So you're saying that the playing in the World Cup itself is not.
Well, he'd be playing for first place, is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
well. Oh, okay. So
He wouldn't have fallen in the end zone,
So
let alone in
Blitz,
this game. Double ones.
blitzing the Angry Drunk here and knocking the Angry Drunk down does mean that depending on how this goes, Spartako might not be dodging out here. Might be going for a block instead.
Oh yeah.
But that is a more dangerous. Well, no, it's not a more dangerous roll because it's 2 dice.
Oh.
Well, that's, you know what.
Black liver, dude. Told you. Again, the black liver.
Let's see. Unfortunately, no armor break. Manages to secure the ball, at least in part. There's still a Dwarf Blitzer in the back that's standing next to the stand firm Blitzer. I'm not sure Spartako can do anything about it though. Actually, he could try and dodge out his dodge Blitzer, but the dodge Blitzer is standing next to a tackle, Longbeard, and dodge don't work. We'll see what he does. It's only got 26 seconds left.
Dun dun. Dun dun. I just love that horn in the background. It's like someone who bought a Vuvuzela or whatever, and it's like. Bah, 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 bah.
So the
that
dodge did work on Beppe. Let's see where Beppe moves.
Got 5 seconds. Will he get it off in time? There you go.
Oh,
okay, got it.
well. Okay. Oh.
There it is. And he got him.
Whew. Okay, running down the clock there. Okay, so it looked shaky for the Orcs, and you know what? It's still slightly shaky for the Orcs here because this is a runner GFI dodge for a 1 die on a piece that does not have block. That's not a very secure place for the ball, and depending on the Dwarves might actually be able to do more here. They might be able to get some extra guard in this area.
That is true. However, Black Liver is still there.
He is.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. That's all I need to say.
Well, I mean, it is, yeah. For some reason, Black Liver, the runner, is the one who usually has to make the place, and he's also, because he's usually the one that makes the place, the one that's always failing the place.
He is. It is possible he could turn it around at some point, change his luck, but I don't see it happening. I mean, even at the start of this game, he was the one catching the ball. He rolled a 1. He didn't even get it. He didn't even get the high kick.
He was also the one who failed the GFI for the Dwarves to drop the ball, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Telling you, dude. Cold filter. He was just waiting. Oh, the double skulls!
Oh.
And there they go.
And that's one of those things that really sucks when you're like, oh, there is a play to possibly make here. But no, I'm going to do the safe block first. And of course, the safe block, for some reason, is going to turn into a freaking dub skull, and I have to use my reroll, and it makes me really angry. But that said, getting some guard in around here. Oh, yeah. So, KO. Okay, getting rid of some orcs here.
That's a guard orc too, a blitzer.
Yep, and Spartako using one of his 2 apothecaries. If you're using an apothecary on a KO piece, that means that the apothecary just stays in. I mean, it turns the KO into a stun. That's what that means, not what I said. Ignore my words.
Okay, I will.
Unfortunately, the 1 die blitz happening here means that well, I guess the ball carrier
giving him a
safe
nice
again.
push right into safety.
Ish. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if there was a better way for Knockoff to do that. If he, rather than push the guard blitzer where he did, if he'd pushed up instead, that would have meant that the well, okay. So the reason he pushed the way he pushed, because hang on, let me just double check. Yeah, it meant that the runner wasn't in a tackle zone, so it didn't have to dodge. The other option was to do a dodge and then get a 2-die. But of course, Knockoff had already at that point used the reroll that turn.
Mm-hmm.
So one of those cases where not much has happened. Here in the back, the 2 Longbeards and the 2 Line Orcs, they've just been staring at each other, being like, we want no part in this.
They are
block
getting
me,
kind of
we won't block
angry as
you.
they look at each other, though. I think the Orcs are trying to pump each other up.
It does look like that.
I mean, it's kind of like baseball. They're just standing in the outfield waiting for something to happen.
Oh, here we go.
Oh!
Blitz to try and clear a path. It's probably not going to be rerolled. No, that's a push. However, that is slightly scary because you don't want to... If you are that Black Orc, you don't want to base the Troll Slayer, because the Troll Slayer can surf you, push you out off the side here. But if the Black Orc wants to move further, the Black Orc has to make a GFI. Even then, the Troll Slayer might be able to. So, oh, here we go.
You got it.
There's still a possibility for a surf here, just because this Troll Slayer is currently free.
Oh!
But we'll see. Okay. Okay, Spartako's making a
moving down.
move. He does have these 2 Line Orcs that we talked about earlier here, so he does have some type of protection. They're both based, of course, but it does mean that there are actually some Orcs down here that he might be able to use. And also, the Stand Firm Blitzer here in back is actually free to run down, and could go stand next to the Troll Slayer.
That is true.
And
It's looking,
of course,
it's looking like he'll probably score either next turn or the turn after. Oh!
Oh, here we go. Another failed. Well,
Oh, the double one!
and the Orcs do what the Dwarves did
Stunned.
in the first half. Ouch! Ouch!
He got
ouch!
touched
ouch.
by Black Liver. He passed the curse on.
Ooh, that is. Yeah, I was going to talk about how the Stand Firm Blitzer here in the back would probably go stand next to the Frenzy Troll Slayer, because the Troll Slayer wouldn't be able to move then. Because with agility 2, he's not really that good at dodging. And the Stand Firm guy, of course, don't have to worry about getting surfed, because Stand Firm stops any pushes.
Now, did he really have to do that go for it roll, or was he just kind of doing
I'm pretty
it
sure.
just-
Well, I would assume that he's been counting a few of the players here to see. Oh, and a stun to see who could actually catch up to him.
Yeah.
And it might very well be that one of these players could catch him if he didn't move further down. But it's hard to say after the fact here which one that would be. It will probably be one of the pieces here, and the middle could go down and give an assist, and then remove one of the Line Orcs.
Probably the Angry Drunk, right?
Well, the Angry Drunk, he could have stopped the Angry Drunk from doing anything by putting the Stand Firm Blitzer next to the Angry Drunk, because with agility 2, you're not going to dodge out. But I'm not entirely sure why he felt the need to be... Oh, actually, yeah, so one of the reasons might be that if he didn't move down, the if he was standing in the square next to this big Black Orc, then it would have been a lot easier to blitz the thrower, because you didn't have to dodge through any tackle zones. You just had to go stand in tackle zones if you removed the Matty B Line Orc stuff. That was probably why.
And now
also
he's down to 1 reroll.
Yeah. And also, you don't really expect the snake eye when you do GFIs. It's not something you really plan for. You know that it's going to happen 1 in 36, but you can't really it's as risk-free as you can make a move, kind of, when it comes to rolling dice, because you just have to make sure that you don't roll 1. Oh, and here we go. Clearing off
down.
Some pieces. Electing to not try and surf the Black Orc, which is probably the smart move, to be honest. Because, of course, if Knockoff can stop the Orcs from scoring, it's going to go into a third half, and then we have another coin toss to see who gets to defend and who gets to run.
It all comes down to that coin.
Yeah. Well,
partially. But.
Yes, definitely. If the Dwarves get another chance at okay, and the Dwarves are down to 1 reroll too.
Yep.
It's gonna be very hard for the Dwarves to score. They do have 4 turns, but they don't have any fast players that can really do anything.
Cold Filter picked it up. Rolled a 6 again. Cold Filter, MVP 2016, not Black Liver.
Cold Filter also only needs 1 more SPP to level up again.
That's true. He just go for the pass or something.
I mean, I'm looking at so Spartako still has some options here. Most of his orcs are really far back and can't really make it down there, but he does have Dredolo, the Lion Orc, that can definitely blitz the runner. It would be a 1-die blitz. It's a possibility. There are some other options, but it's not where you want to be at this point.
Not the greatest of situations out there on the field, I tell you what.
Why haven't you been doing that voice all along?
I don't know. It feels too, stereotypically, sportscaster cringy. But part of it's, that's part of the charm, is just bringing it up every now and again.
Oh, you don't want to be known as the guy who does the sport voice.
Yeah.
You more than that.
I mean, you can do it all the time. Blitzer's coming down here. He's gonna set up shop right over there. You dot it up. But when you just bust it out every once in a while, it's like a treat.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so trying to get rid of this Troll Slayer. Does elect to push the Troll Slayer to the side here, which frees up the Black Orc to possibly run down. Another option would be for the Black Orc to run down and give an assist on the Longbeard here for a 2-die, which meant that the lineman could just try and blitz himself free. It would if the Longbeard actually gets knocked down, there are now two line orcs that are free.
That is true. See, you think he is gonna go for the Dredolo blitz? I like that name, Dredolo.
Well, I mean, possibly. I feel like, Spartako still has a chance to win this because Spartako has pieces in position to still score this half, which I don't think Knockoff considers himself having. Knockoff has 3 turns after this, but that's not a blitz, that's just a push. But it's a knockdown. It does... Oh! Oh, wow.
He avoided it. He is stunned.
Yep, he is stunned. But there are some different options here for a possible blitz. Of course, the Beppe, the blitzer in the back here, does have dodge. Means he gets to reroll a failed dodge, and he's not standing next to a piece that has tackle. Tackle normally, of course, cancels dodge. But so far no blitzes. It's also another option would be for the Black Orc to blitz just to stand up, and that's apparently what's happening. Let's see what we get. Oh,
the double skulls. Does he reroll it? Thinking.
It's a tricky one because it's not necessarily super necessary. It's the last reroll, and then it's a question of, okay, so what do you? No,
Nope.
I mean, there are still the problem for the dwarves here, of course, is that if they make one mistake, the orcs are still definitely in a position where they can try and score.
Mm-hmm.
So the dwarves need to make sure that that's not something that happens.
Yeah.
Fortunately for the dwarves there, they did not knock down the Spartako blitzer.
And I imagine he's saving the reroll for trying to score.
Yeah, or possibly because they're probably going to be depending on where everyone ends up. Like if we're just looking at the situation, most of the dwarves that are left, like there are two dwarves in the middle of the pitch that don't have any orcs standing next to them, so they're free to move. And then of course there's a runner in the back, but other than that, all of the dwarves are tied up, and they'd have to dodge out, which is risky to do. And if one of those dodges failed and the reroll failed, then the dwarves are suddenly in a position where the orcs can decently get a shot at the ball, which is and they can. So
the dwarves rather just try to like hold on to it here. And just
I would assume that they're gonna try their very best to put the ball in as secure a spot as they can. But we're gonna see a handoff, I think, or a yep. Oh,
yep.
Oh, well.
Oh, dang.
Ignore what I said. The dwarves are. It's a long way to run if they want to, but they can definitely try.
That's true.
They're not going to outrun the orcs, but they are. I guess they're giving it their best shot.
He's giving it. Here's the big thing. He's not using black liver, which is a huge factor in this scenario we got going here, because I think Foambeard can do this.
And he's got Somsen Never Sober, the Longbeard, if the possibility could possibly to do 2 GFIs, and it'll be even harder for the orcs to then run around and even get a 1 die on the. Let's see, is it actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Oh! No one's allowed to GFI today. Let's see if it works. Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
He rerolled
4,
that,
5,
so he's got no rerolls now.
Yeah. So the only. Oh, there we go. A failed dodge.
And he's done.
And that was a. Let's see, where is he? It's where are you, Black Liver?
He's in the bottom right. In the cluster of players.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Of course, it's Black Liver that fails to dodge.
It was! There you go, now you're picking it up.
Yeah. So the Spartako, with that turn of event, he has his own named Spartako Blitzer that could dodge out and blitz the Blitzer, but I think that's the only one that can actually reach. I mean, it's odd to say, but the dwarves kind of outmaneuvered the orcs.
Yeah.
Here. I mean, Spartako still has a reroll, and the orcs have 2 turns, and if nothing stops this blitzer, he can easily run down in 2 turns. But there's going to be something that's going to stop this blitzer. It's a question of, is that something happening this turn or is it happening next turn?
Yeah. It's getting crazy, dude. The tide shifted. The turntables turned. Other analogies involving shifting.
Sports. Like,
But yeah, he can, so Spartako essentially, the blitzer Spartako has to, like, make a move this turn. Either to, like, set himself up to blitz or, like, blitz right now.
probably, yeah. If the Spartako blitzer doesn't move, then the Dwarf blitzer is going to be out of reach for the Orcs. So I think it's a question for Spartako right now is what do you do first? What are the safest things to do? And it seems like getting a two die on this Longbeard here and knocking him down seems like a solid choice. If the Black Orc here can clear out another Longbeard, the stand firm. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So that means that at least there's going to be another threat next turn. Once
Derold
can now run straight diagonally, and he'll be a threat to the blitzer, which is probably what's going to happen. Yeah. And the Dwarves are not going to be able to run away from that guy.
Yeah.
So, see, there's still, yeah. I'm looking at the reserves and the chaos, see if this, like, if anything's happened. But no, everyone's fine.
Yeah. I'm just waiting to see when he blitzes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You have to go for it.
Oh,
You're not gonna
okay. Well, that is
big time plays in big time situations, kKnoor. That's what this boils down to. That's what we're getting.
I
haven't seen a play this big since the 1948 Blood Bowl tourney of World War II. Those were the days.
Yeah, and this actually kind of changes things again, because now with Knockoff still having 2 turns, there's a slim possibility that Knockoff could try and go for something else. He does have a blitzer beer belly here standing next to the dodge blitzer. That player could, in theory, run down and actually score. But I think it's more likely that we're going to see a dodge from Beppe, the blodge Orc blitzer, possibly. Well, he can't really pick the ball up, can he? No. Oh! Holy
Black
crap,
Orc down.
I don't think I've ever seen that animation. When Black Orcs fall down, they fall down hard.
They do.
And not using the reroll there.
Ooh.
And I have to do some counting again, because I might have been wrong again. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So the blitzer that was just knocked down can stand up, pick the ball up, do 2 GFIs this turn, not get knocked down or pushed back, and then do 2 GFIs next turn and actually score. So Knockoff does have a scoring threat.
Black Orc down coming this fall to theaters everywhere.
I didn't like Black Orc down. Well, I've only checked the previews, and I feel like it's not. I don't know.
Well, you didn't give it a shot.
No, I didn't. Oh, and that's okay. I was like, it on my screen. It took me forever for the turnover to come up. So I'm like, what's going on? Okay, so just a quick recap here. So Knockoff cannot score. There is not a Dwarf that has the movement left. You ahead of me? You're making noises.
Oh, I think mine was behind, so he just went and picked it up, and it was a turnover.
Yeah, now you're behind. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Did I miss anything exciting? Looking around,
No.
nothing's happening.
No, you didn't.
Okay, well... Like,
I guess-
stream is slightly behind us, so I guess we have to pull back our reactions.
I mean, maybe I'm in sync with the stream since I'm behind.
You
You
could
might just be ahead.
Could be. I mean, I feel like I'm guessing. Okay. So, okay. So reroll is probably going to be used here because there's one reroll left. It's turn 16.
Yep.
No,
And-
not allowed. No fun today.
No
And
fun
that's-
today.
That means we are going to a third half, which is going to constitute a golden goal. And once our half is over, you guys will hear the sweet, sweet voices of VG Purist and Lewpac.
So sweet.
So very sweet.
Mhm.
But, Crendor, there is still one turn left for the Dwarves to possibly do something. Moving the Longbeard up to give an assist on the Black Orc in the middle of the pitch.
That's right, kKnoor.
Thank
we
you.
could have a nice little turn of ASMR Blood Bowl here.
That's very true. We'll probably see some blocks coming up just in a short while. There are a lot of guard pieces standing around both of the Black Orcs in the middle of the pitch, and of course, the Dwarves do love some good blocks.
And who doesn't love a good block, especially block orcs? They're very favorable of a good block. Also, this is a bit like a golf game, now that I think about it.
Golf games, the original ASMR.
Par 4. And the shot.
Is that why people watch golf?
I think it is. They just
Yeah.
watch it to fall asleep. It's got to be. Or just relax. It's nice
Yeah.
background noise. They got the, well, like, the light clapping.
Yep. Okay, let's see. That's a push. Now, in theory, yeah, this is probably not happening, but this could be a surf.
It could be.
I'm like, I want it to be a surf. I don't think it's going to be a surf, but
you
please
just got to
let it be a
dodge
surf.
out of it. Sad drunk. I feel like that would cheer him up somewhat.
Yeah. Okay. Angry Drunk has a blitz first, or a block first, though.
And it's nothing.
Yeah.
They still have,
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so there is doing the one die blocks first. Here comes the go.
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
Well.
Denied.
well,
It's time for overtime.
it's time for overtime, everybody.
Lewpac.
Get ready, pack it in. Here we go. We got
And
some
now
exciting
it's time for
overtime
this-
action coming up.
It's time for the sweet voices of the VG Purist and Lewpac.
We are going to overtime, and there has been precisely 0 touchdowns and 0 injuries so far. So those of you who are still awake, prepare for some overtime. We will finally have to get a winner. Who will it be? Will it be the exciting Dwarfs or the equally exciting Orcs?
Well, this is precisely how I kind of thought that this match would go. Very much a clash of inches, really. Just everybody just taking their time, just positioning well, and then if they score it, then so be it. But I pretty much knew it would go to overtime here.
Both of these teams are so much stronger on defense than they are on offense anyway, due to the lack of speed and the advantages of guard and strength. However, I did think Spartako played better in the first half, But Knockoff certainly redeemed himself in the second with solid positioning. And interestingly, both offensive drives fell to a 1 in 36 failed GFI.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, so far the Mighty Blow hasn't been working out quite as much as the Dwarf team has really wanted to against the Orc team. 3 guys with it, and still no real big injuries on the Orcs yet.
Interestingly, both players now out of rerolls, so a reroll from the kickoff could be crucial. Now, Knockoff's reroll, use of his last reroll, was reasonably legitimate, using the second GFI on his blocker to try and protect his ball carrier. Both teams lose a turn. Interesting for 2 slow teams.
Oh, man.
However, if he was willing to reroll that GFI, I actually think he should have used the GFI to shut down the blitzer that blitzed the ball carrier rather than stand next to his ball carrier. He could have prevented him getting round and prevented him getting that block easily. However, Spartako's final reroll, I'm not quite sure what he was thinking, because at the end of the day, the Dwarfs were 100% not scoring. So he had a bit of a YOLO play available to maybe score, but I don't think it was worth his last reroll. Never in a million years was it worth his last reroll.
That's absolutely right, because it's just, I was really surprised to see that reroll. It's just, why, I mean, the Dwarves couldn't score it, so what, that the roll didn't go right. You know, you would be able to bring your reroll into the overtime period, and it could be crucial now.
The last reroll is absolutely vital in this overtime situation. Obviously, Spartako has won the toss and chose to receive, as of course you would. But will the Dwarfs shut him out down again? And the options he has now are a lot more limited with no rerolls, because the first turnover from either team could just absolutely expose them. So no one's going to be looking to take risks. So we might see an even more slow pace game than we have so far. And if it was actually possible in this universe or any other universe for Knockoff to be less aggressive, we might even see that.
Yeah, the way the Orc team had kind of demonstrated on offense, just how easily they kind of got around. They got the linemen beautifully behind the lines and was able to screen off the ball carrier. I mean, it was just due to a little bit of luck, but a little bit of a good skill pushes here from the Dwarves that enabled them to get to the ball in the first place and was able to stop in the second half. But here, I don't know. I really like Spartako's play so far. Sure, it's been a little bit, some question marks here and there, but still, it's his game to lose at this point.
I think the difference to me was if Knockoff hadn't failed his double 1 GFI in the first half, then Spartako could still have shut him down. If Spartako had made his GFI in the second half, he would have made a lot of progress, and it would have been very difficult to stop. We'll see the Epoch here, 100%. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. The Apothecary.
He's not going to let a player go in overtime like that. However, the stun is still huge. Because it's golden gold, there's no need to stall. And this is a good opportunity for the Orcs next turn, while that guy's out, to gain some ground.
Yeah, it looks like he's heading towards the left side as well, so
I don't think he wants to completely give it away yet. I think he'll still leave options on the right, because he doesn't want to give the Dwarfs time to form up. He wants to make sure they have to think about it.
Although if he does, he's got a nice opening at this moment. But yeah, you're right. No need to rush at this point. Even if the riot took away a turn, it doesn't matter. So you played against Spartako here. So what did you felt in your game, Lewpac? Because I was looking at your game when I was studying Spartako, and you played a nice spread offense against him. Were you feeling like he was just as good as a number 2 NAF? Like, did you think that at any time you just thought,
he
definitely
had the skill level. There was no doubt that he was a class act and tough to deal with. Again, it was a double 1 GFI that opened up my offense to him. However, he went for quite a greedy handoff to try and score on my offense, which let me get the ball back. I made a minor misplay in our match in that I had 1 reroll. I elected not to stall, and I gave him 3 or 4 turns, I believe, to score, which was too much. I should have stalled with my reroll in hand. It would have meant 3 dodge rolls, but I elected to score, and I think the nerves got the better of me. But he was definitely a class player and very strong positionally. You know, once I started to lose a few elves, which was kind of inevitable, I never got a look at the ball without a 5+ dodge.
Yeah, to me, it just feels. I feel like whenever I looked at Spartako's games, it was just like he usually found the combination, or he usually found like in, for instance, again your match, he found that push on the left side that got your ball out in the earlier in the half, and it was just like, wow, I didn't even see that, and it just feels like, wow, he's got it right there.
Yeah, he's definitely a solid player, but he fell at the final hurdle, got taken out 2-0 by Guinness.
Yeah, that he did.
Which I can't imagine he's happy with, but you know, he's still done all right out of this. I think $1,000 or $1,500 and a laptop, depending on where he finishes. I don't think that's bad for playing a bit of Blood Bowl.
You definitely can't fault that. $1,500, loads of stuff for third place. What, laptop and all the focus stuff for the games. What, Battlefield or Battlefleet, Gothic? Oh, it's just so good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gutted I'm not playing for it myself. But I wasn't good enough. I'm still very proud that I qualified. I think that's an achievement on its own.
Yeah, definitely. I played in the qualifiers. I didn't even make it, so yeah, you definitely did better than I did.
Got through the first round of Dwarf Bowl as well.
Well, I mean, Spartako has made it this far, so I mean, you can say that, you know, Spartako.
I'll have to settle for top 32. But nothing to be ashamed of, I'm sure. So it looks like Spartako's now decided to commit to the left. He's definitely going to have to block this Troll Slayer. There's no way he's going to let a Dauntless piece knock over his Black Orc and just isolate him. So I think in this situation, he has to block this Troll Slayer. And not only that, he has now fully committed to the left. There's no dummy on the right now.
Yeah, he's definitely got a highway towards.
What we're going to see is we're going to see the Black Orcs on the right. They're going to just tie up as many dwarfs as possible. Armor break on this Troll Slayer would be insane. Doesn't get it. However, I'm surprised he followed up with the Blitzer, because I kind of like the Blitzer for the receiver.
I think he wants to move around. Maybe.
I think he's going to use Spartako, Blitzer number 4, to move here.
Right. I'm thinking he's probably thinking about putting him one square away from the other Longbeard there, but okay. Well, he goes that way.
He's actually going forward, and the reason he makes this play is to stop the dwarfs directly above him from getting round.
Oh yeah, and this is really great play, and this is where you can actually see his Wood Elf side right here, because this is exactly what the Wood Elves would do, or any elves actually, is that they would just screen off the side, and then his guy would just waltz on in for the touchdown, high stepping it through.
I'm still concerned about the Orc lineman marking the Longbeard on the left corner though, because if he goes out the way, then there's an easy hit on the ball. So he has to move his Blitzer to a position. So he has to move his Blitzer into a position to cover that, rather than make him the receive threat. The reason I don't like this play so much is because it doesn't give him the immediate scoring option. Because the second you've got a scoring option for the next turn, the dwarfs have to respond. It's like a check in chess. You don't have a choice. You have to sort that out, because in a golden goal situation, if he scores, it's game over. So you have to respond every time there's a scoring threat. So I almost feel like he would have been better off blocking the Longbeard number 9 with his guard stand firm, using Beppe for the position that Spartako's in, and moving Spartako down as the receiving threat.
But like you said earlier, I think no rush. It's, you know, he's chosen the more conservative option, to be sure. Protecting the ball carrier is definitely paramount, especially if you're in this position, pretty much the winning position at this point.
Yeah, but then he made the block anyway, so he would have been fine. Round the back, I suppose he's worried about dwarfs coming round the back. Again, remember, neither coach having a reroll though. They're so scared to make every move. The first thought when they consider any move from now on is, what is the worst case scenario? If this is a turnover, what can the opposition do? So the turns are going to slow down a lot here. Right,
and this is actually a really good lesson for the newer guys out there. It's just, you know, you have to think kind of pessimistically when you're playing Blood Bowl at this high of a level. Is that you gotta think, you know, what is my position going to be if I fail? You know, you just can't think optimistically and go, oh, you know, look at this great positioning that I could have if this happens. But I think that's where you see a lot of rage quits. That's where you see a lot of people go wrong. You just gotta think,
you don't.
okay.
I mean, you don't get this far without planning to fail.
Yeah.
It's nice when things go right, but you should always think what's going to happen if this goes wrong. Because no matter how safe your block is, you know, whether it's a 1 in 9, a 1 in 81, a 1 in 36, or even a 1 in 1,296, which is the best odds you can get pretty much in Blood Bowl, bar a 3 dice block with block. You always have to think what's going to go wrong. And here we're just going to see the Dwarfs shut down the only blitzer that can score. He's now marked up by 2 players.
And this is a
However,
great thing here. He's gonna be able to blitz that black orc there and shut off the cage, I think, or the half cage right there.
I don't know. I think maybe he has to deal with this blitzer. He might yet blitz the blitzer roller because, you know, he's only a 3+ dodge away from the end zone. And I don't think you want to put your game on a 33%.
Will Spartako throw it though? If maybe, you know, you could just
Spartako's got edgy forward pass. That's better odds than most of the things he can do.
Yeah, but the catch, I mean, the pass is never in question. It's just a catch, you know. Will he throw it to the guy?
But you take 66% odds of catching the ball. You know, that's in your favor. At this point in the game, you have to weigh up the odds of actually winning the game is 66% if you make that. Plus you've got to make the pass. But interesting, he does go for the black orc here.
Yeah, I think he can still cut off the catch with his other longbeard or runner there and make him catch against a couple attack zones.
I think if I was doing that play, I'd make the dodge first and then throw it to him. Because,
unless he puts the runner in front, but why would he do that?
Because if you fail the dodge, then at least you've still got the ball.
He's going to put the runner in front. There we go.
Yeah,
but that leaves the center wide open.
That's not an issue, really, is it? Because you've got the guard blitzer at the back.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Saying that, there isn't actually anyone free to make the block. So we're gonna see Spartako forced to make a move here. He's gonna have to do something.
Yeah, he's going to be hard pressed to find the cage. So
he's not getting a cage. I think he's gonna have to make his move.
Yeah, he's
very
definitely
soon.
going to have to do something. Yeah. So
we're
probably going to see some fireworks pretty soon, right here.
At least with the golden goal, it's a bit more exciting because there's no pressure on the coaches to stall. They're just going to run it in the second they can. And with this pressure here, the Black Orc on the right is completely irrelevant. The leader Black Orc is irrelevant because he's marked. The Black Orc down the bottom can make a block, but he's no use. So with 3 of his 4 Black Orcs out of the action, that's all of the strength advantage of the Orcs completely isolated.
And he doesn't have any real help for freeing up Roller, the blitzer there, that's in position to make that touchdown, as you were saying. There's just nobody to help those 2 guys.
I mean, I'm thinking it's a 3+ dodge from Roller. It's a 1 dice blitz to move the runner. And then it's the pass and catch. It's horrific. And a coach of Spartako's level will not be happy at having to do it. But at this point, you know, if anything goes wrong this turn, look at the position of the Dwarfs. Both runners are on the outside of the action, just ready to pounce on the ball. The Troll Slayer is marking up the Black Orc, which is exactly what you want. The guard is slap bang in the middle. He's got options. The Orcs currently do not. And 2 turns into overtime, bearing in mind we lost a turn on the kickoff, so it's actually only 2 turns played. I think the Orcs are in a terrible position.
That they are. The Dwarves here are in a really great position, and the Orcs really have put themselves in a terrible position to where, okay, so now you have to get this risk. And like you said, a coach of Spartako's level, will he make these awful risks? You know, I just don't see that happening anytime really soon. As long as he can.
It looks from that blitz that he's going to do a full rotation back to the middle.
Yeah.
I still don't think he can protect that well. Having said that, all those Orcs that we just talked about being tied up, that's also all the Dwarfs tied up. But I feel like the Dwarfs have more option, and the reason for that is their guard is in better places.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to swing around to the right side and probably just hold the ball. I don't see a throw anytime
No.
soon.
He's not passing.
Yeah,
this
he's
turn. But I don't like this. I think this is weak. I think
no, he's not going to pass to the Black Orc, ladies and gentlemen.
I think he's open to. I think he's open to being hit here.
He can stand up the lineman right there and cover it up with Mat 8, so I don't think that's going to be a huge issue. Black Orc for the hit, and he's going to get Varrock Breakthigh back, I'm sure, in position after he gets his hit on this dwarf right there on the blitzer.
Right. So he's knocked down the Black Orc.
And up. Well,
No, sorry. Black Orc turned over, rather.
Unless that happens, and then.
So now, the Dwarfs have got to be well happy with this.
Oh yeah, he's looking good. He's in the driver's seat. Let's see. I'm seeing if I'm trying to see if he has a. He's got a 2-die on the blitzer die roll, but he's a stand firm. But still.
Yeah, but if that guy goes down, he's got possibly a shot on the ball.
Yeah, a really good shot too. And Black Liver, Crendor's favorite guy.
But not only this, the Orcs are hitting the deck, and every time that happens, they just lose their positioning.
What he needs now is some armor breaks. If you're rooting for the Dwarves here at all, then you really want some armor breaks at this point.
I don't think he does. I don't think he even needs the armor breaks. He just needs to keep knocking Dwarves over.
Which he is.
You know, as soon as one team in this situation, 0 rerolls, as soon as one team gets a good run of blocks going, there you go, armor break, you won it.
There we go. Yeah.
So yeah, as soon as one team gets a good run of blocks going, the other team, all they can do is stand up and take more blocks because they can't afford a dodge.
Look at that here. Who says that Black Liver doesn't pull through, right? Come on, Black Liver. I'm rooting for you, buddy.
He didn't knock him down.
But he didn't knock him down.
So we've still got the blitz.
You know what? I think that Crendor is the one who cursed that man right there. Not that he was cursed, but Crendor cursed him.
Okay, so legitimately passing to the Black Orc on the right might be an option.
I think at this point, desperation.
He can't do it.
Desperation.
Or he uses the Black Orc to blitz the Longbeard off of his blitzer.
He could just tie him up there. No, he's going for the assist.
No, he's that's nice.
That's good. That's what I'm talking about right there.
So this is what we're saying. So look at the Orcs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the Orcs are on their bums. Another Orc is on his bum and stunned. That leaves, if my maths are correct, 4 Orcs.
Yeah, Knorr said something in here. He's saying that there may be a long pass, and I think that at this point he might just do it.
I think he has to.
Yeah.
The only good thing that he's probably thinking is I don't have to worry about the dwarf snatching it from downfield and then running all the way in 4 turns. That's a long way for dwarfs. So I think the blitzer is going to blitz himself free and just try and outposition that Longbeard. But if he was going to do that, I would have preferred to see the Black Orc 1 square to the north so that he could actually mark the Longbeard if he fell on the floor.
Well, truthfully, when you think about it, look, he could just blitz him off, like you said, and then bring the Black Orc over, and then the blitzer just needs to stay right there. He doesn't need to go towards the end zone for a scoring chance.
No,
he could just stay short, and then this pass would be...
Because he didn't mark the Longbeard 1 square above with the Black Orc, he actually has to make the run.
Well, he's got some interesting choices here for the pass. I mean,
if he pushes the Longbeard, look at the push options for the Longbeard.
Right.
Then, if the Black Orc was 1 square up, he would be able to keep him marked.
But he still has like a lot of choices, and I still don't think he needs to really rush. But time's running out. It's either this turn or the next turn. The Orcs has to do something. And
I think with his guard stand firm guy completely isolated here,
Right. He's
stunned.
And the right side collapsing. Left side's not looking good.
But he's gonna have to take a block on this runner, and if it's a turnover, he gets blocked for free.
He's gonna have to do it. It's this turn. He's gonna throw it. So what do you like better, Lewpac? Here, Black Orc throw or to the blitzer?
I try and get it to the blitzer just because the odds are better. I mean, I feel like Spartako is going to try and be conservative here and just play safe. But yeah, there's a time for safe, methodical play, and there's a time for YOLO. And with all these dwarfs bearing down on you, this is the time. This is the time. And we saw Knockoff do it in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
Against Malak. We saw him make a 6+ throw into a 3+ catch without an interception, but he had to make a dodge and 2 GFIs as well, I believe.
Yeah, he did. So we're probably going to see some fireworks, some magic here.
Well, we're gonna have to see something, because neither of these guys wants it to go to a coin toss, because that's such a cruel way to end it. It's almost as bad as penalty kicks that we see in the Euros, but at the end of the day, the game has to end at some point. It can't go on all night. Blood Bowl 1, I've seen 80+ turn games go with 2 teams of 1-turners, just constantly scoring 1-turners against each other.
Don't even get me started on those. Oh man, yeah, I've seen that go pretty long. 80+? I've never seen 80+.
Yeah, with 2. I think the end score was something ridiculous.
Well, that's why they turned off gaining SPP and injuries in overtime, right? Because the overtime could last forever, and you'd have a high.
So it looks like his thrower. Sorry to interrupt you there. It looks like his thrower is going to try and dodge and use these 2 Black Orcs as a screen. So this is going to be a 2. This is going to be a 2+. But if he loses the ball here, it is horrific.
And that's the conservative option right there. So we're all kind of saying pass, but right there, I mean, that's conservative, but the Dwarves could catch up and still be able to stop him in the next round. But I like this.
So he gets the knockdown he's looking for on Cold Filter, the runner. Can we see some damage on the armor rate? Can we see our first injury, in fact? Wouldn't we just love to see that, guys? Like, after all the damage from the last game. So here his options are 2D dodge, 2+ dodge, or a block with 1 dice, which is the equivalent of a 2+. He has 1 assist, but there is a guard, so it counts as equal strength. I kind of prefer the block, which he does. And the reason I prefer the block is because if you fail the block, you've still got the ball. If you fail the dodge, the ball's on the floor. That's why, even though the 2 are the exact same odds, then I still prefer the dodge. And even if you get a both down and both players stay, then you still have the dodge option. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe he's going to do a GFI here. He could hide straight behind the Black Orc, but I feel like 1 GFI gives him so much more safety. So that's no GFIs.
That's no GFIs, yeah.
He has been stung before doing a GFI, so he may be nervous. But if he doesn't do the GFI, he gets 1 dice blocked by the blitzer very easily.
And this is the thing here. You could tell veteran players, they're just like, I'm not gonna make that 1 more GFI, even though, like you said, maybe. Oh well, never mind. but a lot of times you see veteran players just not do that, and then they just think, okay, I'm just gonna make do with what I have and not do any of the positioning and just not make the roll. But there he does, and that's the difference right there. As I was kind of saying to Guinness whenever he was about to play Spartako, I mean, you got to make these plays right there to actually beat a guy like Spartako, because you need to be a little bit more unpredictable and just doing these little things here.
If we look at the dwarf play now, obviously they need to worry about this ball carrier. In my opinion, they need to worry about this blitzer roller down on the left, because to me he looks like the option there.
And he's looking a lot more better and better as
here comes the Troll Slayer. So now the Troll Slayer and the blitzer will be able to mark the ball.
Yeah,
if he's willing to make a GFI himself, he could make it very difficult, but he opts for the safer play. Now, if he'd have made 1 GFI and been 1 square to the right, I'd say that's at least 50% more difficult to deal with for the Orcs.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying right there, as I'm saying there before, is just some people just say, okay, just take the safe roll. This is good enough position, but good enough may not be able to win you the game.
No, because this is if he was an Agi 3, this play wouldn't be so bad. Because he's an Agi 4, I would say that play's not good enough. It doesn't achieve a lot that the Troll Slayer doesn't achieve on his own.
That is correct. Because he's agility 4 right there. Sealing off the right side, I think, would have been a little bit better there.
I mean, if you fail the GFI, for example, then you're not in much of a worse position than you are now. Because you've still got 1 tackle zone on the ball. It's still a 2+ dodge for this guy. Sure, they could blitz the Troll Slayer off, but he's got to make some other blocks first, and they're all 1 in 9s for these Black Orcs.
So he's got an easy pitch and catch if he wants it. No reroll. So does he take it?
He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to clear the Longbeard first with his Black Orc.
Yeah, which, you know, 2-die block, right? What could go wrong? And then
he's got
after that,
he's got a 3 lineman at the back of his field, which is nice. I don't think the dwarf threat is too scary at the moment. He's got players back that could deal with it. I don't know. I like the pass here.
I think the aggressive nature is just go for the pass, but
if he wanted to be really safe, he could use the blitzer to block. In fact, he could blitz with the blitzer, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could.
He could blitz with the blitzer, then move him into a safe spot, and then make the pass. I think it's come to the point where he has to do something. Looks like he's trying to clear the Longbeards at the top.
Get the hits on. You want to make the high percentage stuff and then do the pass. If he doesn't,
but I don't think you do. When you've got no rerolls, I think you have to just do those important rolls. Right? Because if you look at the push, the push pow, then the 4 and the 3. So that could have been in other words, that could have been the knockdown from the Black Orc, the dodge, the pass, and the catch.
And as the Sage is pointing out here, also it's just he can also just hit away the dwarf after the blitz with the blitzer, then just stay 2 away and make it a 3+ pass afterwards. So that's actually also a good idea.
There you go. He's turned over.
Well.
He's turned over.
And
he's wide open now.
Oh boy.
So, if he'd have done the pass, the ball would at least be down in the left-hand corner now.
Oh,
look,
and you
look
saw
at
that
this.
he was.
We're going to see 6 dice on the ball here, minimum.
Yeah. If he doesn't get him out, he'll surf him out eventually.
Well, he will.
Oh.
If he doesn't knock him down, he'll surf him.
Oh yeah. And
his only bad side is this isn't Mighty Blow.
This is the nice thing about watching it live. You saw that the die, he held it over him. He didn't pick which one to choose right away.
He said, look at this. He said, look at this.
He's like,
I love
F and
that.
A. Yeah.
So he needs to. If he blitzes the stand firm, he can free up his runner here.
Oh.
Again,
man.
they're not the fastest on the block, but the dwarves can certainly make it here.
3 turns too, and he's only 14 spaces away at the moment.
Yeah. Knockoff's kind of mad that they lost a turn now. You'd think he'd be the grateful one.
Oh man, this is great if you're a dwarf.
There's no
moment.
dwarf fans. There's
no dwarf fans in the
There's
crowd.
no dwarf fans. There's only dwarf coaches. There's no dwarf fans. A lot of people can be a fan of Skaven or goblins without playing them. No one who doesn't play dwarfs is a fan of dwarfs. No one goes, I'd love to see some awesome positional dwarf play today.
And I will say that when I did play dwarves and I started out playing them, it's just so great to have all your guys on the pitch at all times, pretty much.
Yeah, but there's no better feeling playing wood elves and lining up 11 for the second half because you know how mad your opponent is.
That's the worst whenever you do play against an agility team and you cannot get any of his players out.
Again, he's making these blocks. So he's got a 1 in 9 pickup here. I think we're going to have to see the runner potato upfield, and then he can use the blitzer to tie up the furthest lineman.
You know what it is? It's Black Liver that's going to pick up the ball.
Oh, he's failed one.
Oh,
but sure hands has saved him.
Oh,
and he's going right to the edge of the pitch here. I like this,
Perfect.
He's the one guy that can actually go quick. What I don't like though here is he's not going to have much defense with him next time. Attempts the 4+ dodge down the bottom and fails it.
Yeah.
So the Orcs here have got to do some positional stuff.
Semi-risky too, so if he fails any dodge, he's gonna have to dodge his guys too. He's got one lineman in range to help, but he's gonna have to dodge somebody out and make some sort of risky maneuver.
Look at the value for money that the Troll Slayer at the halfway line is providing. Now that, when we talk about marginal wins, like this is massive. Again, we talked about this a lot in Malak versus Knockoff, where, you know, a single Longbeard would tie up the Rat Ogre and stuff like that, and how that gains you the strength advantage and the position advantage on the field. This one Troll Slayer on the right, if we can focus on him, he's tying up 2 Black Orcs and the thrower. And because of the position of the blitzer, the thrower can't even use his Agi 4 for an easy dodge. That is the best troll player position, EU and US.
Well, he's still got he's got desperation dodge into a 1-die block if he wants with the thrower, but
yeah, but if he fails it, he concedes.
Yeah, that's pretty much a GG.
Here we go. The Black Orc receiver is ready for glory.
He's ready.
He believes, but do the rest of us believe?
He's having delusions of grandeur about catching the ball.
Does the audience believe that Farina, the Black Orc, can score? He's got such a girly name as well. I just don't think he's up to it.
You know, what you really got to think about here is, you know, are the Black Orcs going commando at this point? Are they just letting things fly? Are they actually wearing underwear?
I haven't examined that closely. I don't intend to, but I'm sure you can find Rule 34 somewhere in the world. Worryingly.
I know, right? Chat, what do you think? They're going commando?
I hope links are banned, that's for sure.
Oh
and they seem like a loincloth sort of crew. You know, they like to assert their masculinity. The runners, Cold Filter's going down, another hit on another armor 8. I mean, Spartako would just kill for anything here, any little break. I do think he's got the worst end of the dice this game. A lot of pushes in the first half. You know, I think he's been on top in blocking for most of it, and he's got nothing to show for it. Knockoff played a very solid second half. I will not take that away from him.
Yeah, he definitely did. With that push combination in the second half, that definitely put him right smack into contention, because I just felt like, oh well, Spartako should actually be able to push it in for the touchdown, but then something happened and then he lost it. There we go. He's going to be able to blitz down that blitzer, no problem.
So he is going to knock him over, and this is going to be a tackle zone on the ball, but it's a tackle zone that's easily dealt with.
Yeah, he should be able to blitz him off.
He's deciding how he wants to position this, because if he doesn't follow up, he's going to have to do GFIs. If he fails GFIs, it's a problem.
Uh-oh. Okay,
Hang on.
Yeah, so he wants to get in front of the runner now, yeah.
No,
like
no, actually he's not going to do the GFIs. The reason he's doing that is so that he's got him available for blocking the position. Yeah, he can't do the GFIs there, I don't think, because he loses. So he's done the YOLO dodge now.
YOLO dodge.
What he's trying to do, he's trying to isolate the runner into a potato play. For those of you at home who aren't familiar with the Twitch lingo and the Blood Bowl community, a potato play is where one player runs up completely exposed with the ball on his own. He potatoes it upfield.
Right.
So the reason he didn't follow there is because he was giving up quite an easy block on the ball. Like, now he's going to at least give himself a 3+ dodge.
Yeah, and you're right. He's going to have to go potato.
Yeah, he knows that the Dwarfs now have to potato play it. I wouldn't be surprised to see something crazy, like the Troll Slayer dodge to try and hit someone. But even that requires GFIs, so maybe just the Longbeard.
I hope he doesn't forget his players like he did in the third game against Malak, where he just left a blitzer way in the backfield.
Oh, that's a cheeky one, isn't it? That is cheeky.
That is. But if he would have knocked him down, that would have been nice. But push.
Now
where is he gonna go? The blitzer is in prime position.
I think he has to go upfield 2 squares, definitely.
Yeah.
For me, I actually quite like bringing doing the blitzer dodge as your last move. So blitzer number 2 dodges up and right away from the thrower, and basically goes 1 square away from the sideline at the 10-yard mark, because that prevents the other blitzer from doing a 3+ dodge. It makes it a 4+, and forces him to do a second 4+ afterwards.
Right.
And it also prevents the thrower from coming up the right-hand side. So that, you know, again, talking about positional play, I think he should have made that dodge, because he gains nothing from where he is now.
Well, he has to do something because time's running out. One more turn, and he will run it in.
I'm pretty sure Spartako is not scoring this half. Unless...
Well, he could make a blitz and then, you know, miracle throw it to the guy in the middle.
It would have to be a Christmas miracle. It would have to be a Christmas miracle starring Macaulay Culkin and Tom Hanks in the same film
it would be
for this to happen.
It'd be similar to a 6+ throw into a 3+ dodge with, you know, a couple of go-for rolls into a 3+ catch, right? That never happens.
It'd be like winning the lottery twice in consecutive weeks, I think, at this point. Maybe not that low odds, but it's quite bad. So he has to take again, if he fails the dodge, if he fails the 1 dice, if he fails anything, it's game. He's made the dodge.
Yeah, and there he goes. He's gonna do it.
He's made the block, and he's knocked him over.
It.
Oh, twice now, Spartako has held on by the skin of his teeth.
How many times have I done a blitz and it always ends up as a push, and you're just cursing?
And he even rewards himself with an injury and miss next game.
Yeah, wow, and that's a big one. No more black liver to pick on, but still, that's a runner.
Spartako's got to be upset. So now it's YOLO.
Or Knockoff, it's upset, but yeah.
Sorry, Knockoff's got to be upset about that. Twice that's happened to him.
Right. And no one in range for this touchdown, so it's going to go into extra kicks. Unless
they can formulate some sort of crazy push play with this Longbeard. Even then, I don't believe they can, because he has to go sideways 1 square to pick up the ball, which will mean he's out of range.
Oh my goodness.
So I think Spartako's got nothing to lose here by just trying to hammer the ball upfield. Oh, never mind. Another 1 in 9, and a Black Orc goes down. We are going to overtime, ladies and gentlemen. Overtime.
Yeah,
we've had overtime. We've seen overtime. Overtime's long gone. We're going to penalty kicks.
We're going to penalty kicks.
Overtime is over.
Just to answer the question real quick. So I've done 3 years of Blood Bowl casting on my YouTube channel, and also a league admin for the North American TTS League. Also a beta tester for Blood Bowl as well. So I've been around the scene for a very long time.
We're going to see the catches, the thrower surf here. Looks like we are. He wants revenge for his runner. Will he get it?
Yeah. And
pick
hopefully
the push.
get it.
You always pick the push because it gets the crowd more angry.
There we go, KO.
Because if you pick the crowd, if you pick the PAL, the crowd feels like you're doing their job for them, and they get a little bit annoyed and they kind of let up. If you pick the push, they're like, right, some damage needs to happen now. He in theory could have scored, yes, but it was very unlikely. Now, no rerolls, so this is going to come down to a single dice roll. The coach who rolls the highest on 1 dice will win this match.
Last time there was a question about the visualization of the penalty kicks, and I actually asked about this afterwards. So how this works is the D6 is actually computed as a D6 minus 1, so that you don't get the first one as a guaranteed success. Other than that, the number of kicks that you succeed in are simply the number of successes you rolled on the D6.
So does it show, if you roll a 5, does it show 5 successful kicks then?
It shows 4 successful kicks, but it ends as soon as one of the teams fails while the others still succeed.
Huh. Why is this so complicated?
Well, so I think representing the D6 roll as a number of successful kicks is actually fun, but since the D6 cannot roll a 0, the first kick is guaranteed a success, which is kind of boring. So that's why they made a D6 -1, so that it visualizes better and gets exciting right from the start.
Yeah. But people didn't know that it couldn't succeed. Here we go. He doesn't manage to do any last-minute damage
Mighty
to this
Blow has
blitzer.
not been coming out true for the Orc team at all.
Well, it took us
for the
24
Dwarf team.
turns to get an injury.
Yeah, and it was on the Dwarfs.
Right, so this is going to penalty kicks. The last roll of the dice was a skull, which he'll probably be quite pleased to get that skull, aka a 1, out of the way. So, here we go. Knockoff versus Spartako. Dwarfs versus Orcs. Penalty kicks will decide the first game here in the World Cup 2016. Dwarfs have made
Looks
their
good.
first kick, so the pressure's now on the Orcs to make their second.
Oh, nail biter.
He lines it up. Looks like a blitzer's taken it. He's made it. We've got 1-1. Isn't it, or does the screen go a bit darker for this? Dwarfs with the score.
It does fade away, but I don't think it's any darker.
2-1. Orcs with the score. 2-2.
Oh man, you know, I've not seen it go this far in a long time.
Dwarfs with the
somebody-
miss. The Dwarfs have missed.
Oh, he's got.
So that means the Orcs, I believe, take it 3-2. Is that how? I think that's how.
No, he still has to prove it on the roll.
There you go.
And there it is.
Orcs take the first game 3-2. And after the first half, I would have said Spartako deserved it. But after the second half and overtime, I'm not so sure. I think it could have gone either way. And I almost feel that Knockoff will feel hard done by the way that ended.
Yeah, I mean, regardless here, the Knockoff, the Dwarf coach here, can't feel bad about that performance. Ending it like that does. But I mean, he played a really good game, stopped them twice, and was able to take the ball and had a really good shot to win at the end.
The question
For the
remains:
Horde.
will we see a touchdown in this World Cup third place decider?
It would be really, really sad if there were just 0 touchdowns in the third place.
Knockoff's
That would be
consolation
dreadful.
prize is a leveled up Longbeard, which he won't be too unhappy about.
Alright YouTube, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, remember to leave it a thumbs up at the bottom. And of course, if you'd like to see more videos, do check out the channel and hit subscribe on your top right.